Every time I see that mule in the end of that, I remember that day and how that old hag just ran off on me, and she was going to stay. She was going to stay out there. She ran off. And she ran around the trailer, and I was cussing a lot of F-bombs and yelling at her. And I think she realized I was not kidding when I said, I'll effing leave you here, you lion bait donkey. And she ran all the way around that trailer and jumped back in. And that was a tough day. I mean, I was drinking water out of the dog bowl. Like, we had no water. I gave it all to my dog, so they had to share theirs. We lost a dog that day. Lost 2 dogs that day. Found one the next day. So, anyway.
It's a rough deal.
Guys, howdy doody. Let's see who we got in here first. Jeremiah with his words of wisdom. I don't know if he's telling us we need to shut up and be humble or just giving us advice. We got this good looking guy in here. Oh wait, that's me. Missy Fix. Always like seeing Missy in here. She says evening all. Rick Cooley, if there's any fox hunters, get hold of Rick Cooley. He's trying to do something with him. I gave him Michael Ewing's contact over there in California because he runs a lot of fox. Who else? Hazel Hazlitt's Hounds says evening. James Myers. I think everybody's here just to see if they win something.
Probably.
Jeremiah, got a storm coming in. Yeah, it's supposed to snow. It looked like it was gonna rain. It felt like it was gonna rain here in Arizona. I'm down in Phoenix, but it did not. Louisiana Hunting telling us that we're late, basically. Gila Hounds, have they been on before?
Mm-hmm.
Evening, everyone. Tom Pruitt from Kentucky, and Jim Nanny from Kentucky. David Peterson, hello from northern Wisconsin. I like to see everybody from different states. I've been talking to a lot of people, and I even considered changing it to American Working Dog Alliance because we have 24, well, maybe 26 now. I had a couple people join.
We probably should.
More people from, I have more people from, like out of state than I do. We only have like 26 people from in-state. Everybody else is out of state. We're over 80 members, 82. I don't remember what it is. So,
we should get to the American Working Dog Alliance. We'll just do that national thing for them.
You should
it's a lot of work.
You should rename it to the American Working Dog Leftover Pie.
Yes. Yes. We're just serving leftovers. I think we all know what we're talking about. I got so many calls on that, and let me just get into that and get it out of the way now. Get the gossip out of the way. I had posted basically, you filthy houndsmen need to sign up. And a guy got on there and said, when do you guys realize that's never going to work, these organizations? And basically told us we were just serving leftovers, which I'm a fan of leftovers, I'll be honest.
Yeah. But you let
me get into that real quick. Colorado leftovers. And if you have leftovers and you taste it, you know how to cook it next time. And we're cooking it different. We're cooking it way different than last time. But he basically called any organization worthless. Is how I took it. And then I started thinking, well, Colorado, those were a bunch of organizations. So must have been some good leftovers there.
Yeah, I think so.
Me and Derek, we went on breaking up. Am I breaking up? That's you, Rick. My internet's like perfect right now. Is everybody else's?
You broke up for maybe 5 seconds.
Might be my microphone. So basically, so me and Derek went to the Arizona legislature house. What is that? What was that called? A hearing.
The House of Representatives
for the 20
commission hearing, or committee hearing
for the 2552. And the 2552 is the bill that says that Arizona Game and Fish can't take dogs out of the any of the law of the word. You can't get rid of dogs. I want to play a clip of that too. I have that saved right now. Here, we'll go to that. And we talked because my leftovers are so good, or our leftovers are so good, I guess, because we kind of threw it in a potluck. Did you not hear when Lupe Diaz, the representative, said, I had heard an interview with a guy about the dogs, and I thought, it's kind of inspiration to. And Chuck Polak says, that was Chris. So hang on, who is this? Brett. I gotta let Brett in. He's way down the bottom. So I felt like, dang,
where's my picture?
That one interview from our, I don't know where your picture is. That's you.
What's going on?
You're hiding from us.
It's probably a good thing.
So all I can say is the emblem moves when you talk. So.
I forget. With yours, I got to turn this button on down here.
So I felt like that's kind of cool that an interview we did inspired a representative to go on this. But let me play. I got it saved already. I'll share it. Hopefully you guys can hear it and it works okay. But he's going to explain his bill. And he's going to go through kind of why and I've always wondered why he did this. And this little couple-minute clip shows why he did it. Let me get over here. Share screen. Share screen. Window. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, goodness. It's going to be a pain in my butt. I got to open it up, I think.
I'll teach you how to do that one of these days.
You think after all this time he'd have it figured out, right, Brett?
I would think so. Some people are slow, though.
Well, I'm really slow.
Just a rookie.
I have to open it, I think. I have to open it and minimize it so it's not hiding behind another one. Okay, let's try this again. Share screen. Share screen. Window. There it is. Okay, here we go. Tell me if you can hear it. Ready? Can you guys hear it?
No.
Sure can't.
Sounds like they got some hound pups at the state capitol.
Yeah. I got some little terrorists outside.
I hope everybody can hear it.
No.
Nope.
Can't hear it at all.
Not playing the sound.
No.
Let me try now. Can you hear it now?
Can you click on the audio right up there at the top, or?
What's that? So you guys can't hear it?
Nah.
Nope.
No.
God, dang. I don't know why the sound's not coming through. Well, that's a bummer. I guess you don't get to listen to it now. Anyway, basically what he said.
He just left.
Who did?
Jared, isn't that Jared right there in the middle?
Oh, yeah. He probably had a
Yeah.
phone call. I don't know why you can't hear it. I don't know why it's not letting you hear it.
Because our ears aren't working.
Maybe that's what it is. I could hear it. I don't know why you
I
can't
can hear Benny. Benny, sit up. You look like you're about to go to sleep.
Hey, I got 4.5
He
hours
is.
sleep last night.
And he's driving.
You look tired.
Anyways, all right. Well, Rick said this. Tell him what he said. So basically, what he talked about how he's a quail hunter. He has friends that does it, and so he decided to do this, whatever. But he also blew out the CBD. Am I right, Derek?
Yep.
He said he thought it was ridiculous that they're coming after us for stuff like this, that they're attacking us. And he was going to poke the bear in the eye. And that's why he did this. So, and then he went into saying, and I had a bunch of these sportsmen's organizations call me and tell me to squash the bill, like to get rid of it. And he went into why. And it was because these organizations called him and said, hey, get rid of that bill because they'll make money off us if that bill goes through. And he was kind of appalled about that too, huh, Derek?
Yeah, he
said,
was.
that's absolutely stupid. Like, that's absolutely, yeah. He said that it just wasn't right. You know,
he said, I'm not built like that. I'm just going to go ahead and poke the bear. And he called them CBD people out with old what's sitting right there. He looked him dead in the eye and called
Russ McSpadden.
Yep, looked him dead in the face and called him out. And he said, "We're not having that here."
Yep. And it went through. So it went through this little session, and now it goes into the next session hearing. Now, will the governor allow it? I don't know.
It might slip through. She's busy right now.
And that's what I kind of wonder, because he pushed through like 6 different outdoors related bills in that same day. And the way I understand is if he pushed it through, it's going to get passed through. So she's going to get hit with a half a dozen of these deals. She's either going to have to veto every damn thing or pick the lesser of 2 evils. And that one's the least. That changes nothing. All the rest of them change things. Yeah. It may sneak through.
I mean, she's got so much bullshit with this border, with the ICE and the Border Patrol down here. She's talking about blocking ICE and deportation and all this. Well, they're breathing down her neck right now.
Yeah. Yep.
This week they just seized 160 pounds of meth in the Tucson Border Patrol.
Wow. That's only about 3%.
I don't wonder if the president's not waiting for a governor to block ICE operations. All they got to do is catch them turning loose one cartel member, and now they've aided a terrorist organization. He can impeach them.
Yeah,
it's true.
They'd start in Santa Fe.
Yeah, I don't know how much drugs goes through Texas per New Mexico, per Arizona. I'm sure a lot go through California too, but Arizona, you can take desert all the way to the 40 and not touch a town.
Yeah.
So, and once you hit the 40, you go right or left, and you hit the 25. 25 goes north and south. So,
yeah, that's a lot of desert to cover though with no water.
They carry water.
They know, and there's people.
They carry it. I use their.
Yeah.
I use their.
There's people that drop water
dogs.
for them.
Well, yeah, you got humanitarian aid down here, with the blue flags lighting up in the desert with 50-gallon barrels full of drinking water. But those barrels are really good for watering dogs on, though.
and where I live, they leave gas cans.
Oh, yeah?
I'm just saying. Sometimes you find like 3 or 4 5-gallon gas cans out there.
See, they just need to start arresting those people leaving those, because they're aiding terrorists. If they were giving gas cans to Al Qaeda, they'd already be in Leavenworth. What's the difference?
Yep. I mean, yeah.
Oh, did you see what happened in Oregon? Anyone?
Oh, yeah. They were trying to go county for county. So what that means is if county wants to show up, if the county commission says we're going to hunt lions in this county, then they're going to hunt lions in that county, I guess.
They pushed that through. They pushed that in last year.
How does that take away from their DNR or?
Because they got rid of it on a county basis, on a county vote. Just all the counties agreed to get rid of it, so they can bring it back the same way. They have like a weird British style government scheme up there, where they can do it in small sectors like that. They can circumvent the state law in the county.
Yep. But I mean, shoot, Eastern Oregon's been trying to join Idaho for the past 15 years.
Yeah.
Just like North California has been trying to become their own state since the 70s.
Yep.
Needs to happen.
Yep.
It needs to happen.
Yep. All right, that's enough politics.
Yeah. Enough of that shit.
I think that's all the politics we have.
Yep.
We went there. It passed through. It's kind of good news everywhere around. I don't know what's going to happen in Oregon, but as far as Arizona, if this 2552 passes, we're okay. If it don't pass, we're okay. I think we have a strong enough game and fish department that realizes that you have to use hounds, period.
Yeah.
Well, they see what happens when you don't. I mean, just look at California, Oregon, Washington.
Mm-hmm. And then they know what happens when you use too many. Just look at Utah.
Yep.
Everybody complains. Can't win them all.
No, you can't.
Brett, what have you been up to? You look tired today.
I am tired. I had to go to town. That always drains me.
Shit. I'm in this little bitty Airbnb in the backyard of another house, and I'm in a suburb of Fort Worth, kind of close to downtown, and I'm not looking forward to having to go find someplace to eat in the morning.
What are you doing over there, Benny?
Hey, a guy's just got to make some circles if he's going to stay alive.
Well, you just got back from Phoenix not too long ago, didn't you?
Yes,
Yes.
I went the other way.
Yeah,
God.
and he stayed gone a while.
Yeah, that wasn't punishment enough.
No, I got a phone call yesterday. A friend of mine
I
dying, and so I needed to come see him for a while. And I told my first wife last night. I said, "Well, we're making that trip," so I hit the road this morning.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I had my airline tickets and everything to go to Salt Lake City to go to that expo, and I backed out at the last minute. I told my wife, I said, "Can you cancel those tickets?" And she said, "Sure." So I canceled them. I don't know. I just don't.
Busy
like
man.
things like that.
That's a big one, right? Which one were you going? Or no?
The big expo there in Salt Lake. I've been to it one time before, long time ago. I was headed up to see my brother-in-law and sister there in Wells, and I stopped there and spent the night and went to the expo. It was fun. I mean, I seen a lot of people I knew, but I was invited to sit in a booth, in a display booth or whatever they call it, and I canceled at the last minute.
That's the problem. They invited you to be there on display.
Yeah, I know. I know. Really, I really don't like that kind of thing.
Brett had to go to town today, Anderson.
Oh, I went to town, and then I've been kind of puny for the last few days. I've had some issues, but I'm over them now, so don't want to go into
that. Only lasts
details.
once a month, though. He'll be all right.
Yeah, it once a month, lasts for about 4 or 5 days, and then it quits, and I'm back on the.
Yeah, he's back with us.
So for part of the
shoot
change,
Benny,
part of the month your pronouns change.
Yeah, something like that.
We're not allowed to have pronouns. We got a new president, guys. It's only 2 of us. He and she.
He and she. I like that.
You know what we have too? We got some swag. We got some swag over at coldstrikegear.com.
Just
go to coldstrikegear.com. Go down to AWDA swag. There you go. You can get a hat or hoodie right now. More stuff.
Yeah, I talked to our buddy at Value Pack.
I did too today.
He said he was going to be getting hold. He said he was going to be getting hold of you. What time was it? Later today?
He was at a show. Is he up there at that show? No,
Yeah.
no, it was early this morning, like probably 9-ish, 10, maybe 8. Yeah. So
Yeah, he said that.
I did. I said, listen,
I had to
I'm not a
verify.
salesman.
I had to verify you were a good guy.
You had to blue check mark me.
I'll bet that was tough.
You had
Who
to
is
blue
this
check
guy?
mark me.
He said, I can't remember his name. I said, I'm not sure I want to tell you.
What guy? You're like, what guy? No, I called him. I said, listen, I don't
So
like
that's good.
asking for stuff, but I'm just gonna try to be a salesman now. You know, I said I need some dog food, and I tried to pitch him Wayne Bisbee's idea, like to put something on it that said, you know, we sponsor Houndsman or whatever. And he said, oh man, you know, the plates for this is 10 grand. I said, well, what if we pay for that? He goes, oh no, that's just to get the print on. Then I have to order the bags. He says it's a tough thing. So I think I'll just order some stickers and we'll slap them on the bags if we give them away. So
no, he said he was going to get you some.
Yeah, I said, I'm trying to do like, I don't know if we'll get any kind of banquet this spring, just a small one. I said, the rendezvous is probably going to be the biggest one. And then I said, oh shit, I do the hound trials. And those guys just go to a local feed store and they give them some Purina dog chow. And we don't like Purina.
No.
You know, he goes, well, Purina locks that up. I said, no. They just, a local feed store donates it to them. So maybe I can get a pallet for that. And
go to their, when you have time, go to their, they have a Facebook page. And then they have, you know, they'll show pictures of where they've contributed to different like fox trials and different things like that. And when you can, take that and share it, you know, share it on your page or whatever. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Uh-oh, Brett.
What did I lie about?
Jeremy's calling you out.
For betting Chris.
Oh, no.
Saying he was a good guy.
Oh. How did Dustin just come up with that like that? That was messed up.
I also told him I didn't know him very well either.
Chris, who?
Jeremy knows I'm right.
Oh, that guy. That guy's worse than Bone Pile. And I think I called out. We were on Houndsman XP last night, and there's a guy named Caveman on there, and I thought it was the Bone Pile guy. I swear he talked about welding on our show here.
Passmore, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Sonny Passmore, Dandy Florentine, Bone Pile. And I swear he came on as Caveman. I said, you guys remember us talking? Was that? Yeah. And then he said, oh, I think you have the wrong guy. So I don't know if he was messing with me or if it was the wrong guy, but yeah.
We even commented on their podcast.
We did. We got on there and we started fights, arguments, and rolling in the dirt, as Chris called it. Because me and Caveman were rolling in the dirt about lion scent because he said something about they don't turn their scent off. I said, oh.
And I wrote a whole paragraph explaining it.
Yeah. And I said they turn their scent off, and he said, no, it's something in the soil. It's something about the soil. I'm like, okay, what kind of soil?
Yeah,
it is. And he put
soil, though, Chris. The soil doesn't have the scent when they don't leave it behind.
Exactly. Well, I said, what soil? And he said, just like hard or rock. And I'm all, so sand, rock, like what are you, powder? The guy, I don't know who it is. I don't know who it was.
Yeah, rock's the best. What are you talking about?
No kidding.
Well, he didn't know nothing about it. So
Value
Pack is the largest dog food sponsor at all our Beagle trials here. There you go.
I thought I had a very reasonable response to
it isn't Bone Pile, it's Bonehead.
Mm-hmm. It's always some guy from like Ohio to tell you how lions.
I was trying to trigger roll.
Let me see. I got to find
Dustin,
it now.
You going to the banquet?
Yes. Yeah.
You're
I'll
going to
be
the
there.
Utah banquet, right, Dustin?
Yeah, technically
What's
I'm
that
still
date?
on the board. It is the 22nd of March. But yep,
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
will
why
be
I couldn't
there.
go with you.
Yeah, you're
Me
gonna
Me
be
and Derek
in
are going to be in
New
Mexico. Flirting with the Albuquerqueans.
Is Mike supposed to be there?
Snow is the best. Leonard?
Yeah.
I would imagine Mike.
Me and Benny were talking about that. I think he'll show up.
Yeah, I think Mike Leonard will be there.
I'd like to meet Mike
Oh,
Leonard.
good.
That'd be cool.
We'll make him buy dinner and drinks.
If you're lucky, he'll sing.
If you'll just
Yeah,
drink his little red Solo cup, you'll get ripped.
there you go. Oh, that's another thing. Let me see if I can pull this up. Jared sent this to me. We'll kind of shit. When do we want to do the drawing? We're going to draw for that package.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do it in 30 minutes. At
You're
30.
drawing for
At
Jared
30 minutes.
package.
What time is it?
That's right.
Oh, so it's 6:30.
Jared's package. Jared, I'll show you what Jared sent me. I might be able to share the screen this time. Oh, hang on. Before I gotta unminimize it. Where you at? There you go. I'll show you a bunch of pictures. Here we go. Present. Share screen. There we go. Here we go. Window. Okay. Yeah. It's coming. Maybe it's not.
Be careful. Don't open the wrong folder.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got those in my hidden. Mike Leonard. Can you guys see that?
You see screen.
Or you? What's
Yeah,
that?
we see a trailer. We see all we
You
see is
still
a
see? You
trailer.
don't see the?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
my
that thing you sent me that has all the old time
Yeah.
lion hunters from New Mexico. That's from the
All right,
big game houndsman, or used to be the old
Let
shade
me
tree.
redo it. I have to redo it now. Let me go to here. Go to here.
I'm gonna have
My
to teach
son
you how to do
likes to
those
call
kind of
me every
things,
Wednesday
Chris.
when I'm on the. Well, okay. Well, I
Right.
have to share the screen and then I have to minimize it so it goes into a new window, and then it. Okay, now you can see it, right?
Yeah, it's a little
Somewhat.
small.
Or is it taking a while? See it yet?
Yeah.
There you go. That's a
That-
little better.
I just sent you
Dub
something
Evans.
on Albert. I just sent you
You-
something on Albert Pickens.
Albert Pickens. Let me go here, and I can move it up and down. How many? We got Terrell Shelley. How many of those guys you guys know? Benny, Brett, Mike Roots on there.
I know. Well, I knew
Saul Goodman.
Quentin and Roland Rice, Mike Root,
Hap Black,
of course, Terrell
Orville
Shelley.
Fletcher.
Richard Holcomb.
I got to hunt with Orville Fletcher. I got some really good stories about hunting with him.
Is he the one that told you is it a track or not?
Quentin.
Oh, he
Holcomb.
told me a bunch of things. Told me come up there to my place and lectured me about not mixing dogs. Don't ever mix dogs. Don't you either hunt your dogs or hunt someone else's dogs. Just don't mix dogs. I said, yes, sir. So I showed up the next morning. He looked at me and said, where's your dogs? I said, Mr. Fletcher, why would we want to hunt with my dogs when I can hunt with your dogs? I mean, he said, oh, okay. And then he said, I want to go. They had a lion that was collared. And of course, I lived up there and I knew the country real well. And he said, Granite Peak. He said, the last signal we had on him was at Granite Peak. And I said, oh, okay. I said, there's a little old cowboy trail that goes up through there. And so we took off and he rode one of my mules. And we got up there. Oh, I mean, and it's a hard ride. Well, Benny knows that country. I mean, it was just tough and steep and rough, and it's a cowboy trail or a game trail, really.
And it's completely brushed over.
Yeah, it's just, and we were almost to Granite Peak, and he looks at me. He said, "How far to Apache Peak?" And I said, "Mr. Fletcher, you said Granite Peak." No, I meant Apache Peak. I said, "Well, Apache Peak's 8 miles over that way." And I said, "Well, maybe we can cut across country," which was a mistake. And so we took off cutting across those big old deep canyons, trying to get through there. And his dogs went down to the bottom of this canyon, and they started opening it up. Oh, oh. And I looked at him, and he just didn't pay any attention to him. Kept doing it. Finally, I said, "Mr. Fletcher," and I thought, this old man can't hear because he was already in his 80s. I said, "Well, this old man here." And I said, "Mr. Fletcher," I said, "what do you think those hounds are opening up on down there?" He turned around and looked at me. He said, "How long have you been doing this?" I said, "Not very long." He said, "I can see I'm going to have to start at the very beginning with you." And we just kept on riding. Finally, I got a little upset. I got to thinking about it. Finally, I said, "Mr. Fletcher," I said, "it was just a question." Turned around and looked at me. He said, "They're trying to trail a 2 or 3 day old lion track, or maybe smelling some bobcats on the brush." And that was it. Finally, we were going through there, and I mean, it's steep and nasty, and we're having to lead our mules. It's just terrible, terrible country. And I was in brush, and finally, I just stopped, and I put my hands down on my knees, and I was sucking air. And this 80-something-year-old man looks at me and says, "What's wrong with you? Are you tired?" I looked at him, and we were leading. And I looked at him, and I said, "No, but my mule is." And he went just like this. Come on, keep going. So we kept going. Got over there by Apache Peak, and clear across the canyon, there's a big old cave over there on the other side of the canyon. And he starts bragging about his dogs right there. "Oh, look at those dogs. They can smell that lion was right here. He was right here. So really, and then he looks across that canyon, and he said, "There's a cave right over there." He said, "Why don't you go over there and look in that cave?" I said, you think that lion might be in there?" "Yeah, he might have just went in there and died, and we wouldn't get a signal from him or something." So, all right, man, I hiked my fat ass across that canyon, climbed up in that cave. There was nothing in that cave. Came back. And then we got back. There was some biologists there too, and some young lady and a man, and then there was an older man that came with Orville, and he went with the biologist. And we got back to where we had parked, and I had me a little cooler, and I had 2 cold beers in there. It's back when I drank a little bit. And so I offered Mr. Fletcher one. I said, "Mr. Fletcher, he's sitting there eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I said, "Mr. Fletcher, would you like to have a beer?" "You drink?" I said, "Yes, sir. I like to have a few beers every now and then." "God damn, I can see why you're so fat."
Oh boy.
And then he came to the biologist, the young girl and the man came back, and the biologist, and of course, Mr. Fletcher was concerned about his friend. He said, "Where's my friend?" They said, "Oh, he got real tired and he had to stop down there, a few miles down there." And we had already unsaddled the mules and everything. And he looked at me and he said, "Hey," he said, "he's got a bad heart. He's got a real bad heart." He said, "Will you go see if you can find him and take a mule for him to ride back?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And I saddled the mules back up, and I took off down through there. And I asked the biologist where they thought he was, and they told me, and I went there, and I could see him about, I don't know, it was 50 feet, 100 feet up in front of me, and he's laying flat on the ground like that, and his straw cowboy hat's about 5 foot from him, laying on the ground. I thought, "Oh, geez, this old man died up here." And so I didn't want to ride right up on him. So I started hollering. I said, "Hey, mister. And he lifted his head up. "Oh, yeah, I'm over here." I said, "Are you all right?" And he said, "Yeah, I wore out." He said, "I just got worn out." And I said, well, Mr. Fletcher said that you had a bad heart. He said, oh man, he said, I could die. And he said, I got a pacemaker. My heart would keep beating. He said, even if I died. I said, you're riding a mule. He said, no, I've never rode before. He said, but I'm going to today. And he climbed on that mule and I took him back. And then Mr. Fletcher asked me that evening, he said, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, I don't have any plans at all. And he said, come on down. He said, we'll go hunt on the Ladder Ranch tomorrow. And I said, all right. And that old man that I rescued, he came over to me. He said, man, he said, if Mr. Fletcher asked you to go hunt with him tomorrow, he said, he must really like you. He said, because he doesn't do that for anybody. So I made sure I was there the next morning, and we rode around in his truck, and I learned a lot. I mean, through the country and everything. We went to one spot, and he stopped right there, and he pointed. It's just a little, it was like a big ridge, a big mountain, a big ridge, and there's a cut in it. And he just pointed at that cut, and he let his dogs out. He said, every lion that comes through this country comes right through this cut. He said, if there's a lion in, and he had hunted that Ladder Ranch for years and years. He said, if there's a lion in here, he said, it came right through that cut. And then later on, we were driving up a road, and he stopped. And he said, get out and see if that's a lion track. I climbed out and was looking at, not just typical of me. I'm trying to turn anything into a lion track. And I was looking at it. He said, is it a lion track? And I just kept looking at it. I said, well, I'm not sure. Either it is or it isn't. He said, get back in the truck.
No, sir, it ain't.
But he used to call me. He would call me every now and then and ask me how I was doing. He just was hard. That's all it was. He was just hard, and he damn sure wasn't going to baby me. And this has been, 15 years ago, Benny, something like that? Or
how old was he then?
He was in his 80s. He was 82 or something like. He's a tough old man.
He hunted up until he was about 90, didn't he, Brett?
Yeah, him and Bency went and hunted together, I think. Him and Bency hunted a few times together. So
I'd like to hear that conversation. How he talked to Bency.
Oh yeah. You should see Bency started right? Bency started hunting with me back. He had never even rode a mule before. And we hit a bear track, and those dogs took up off that canyon, and I took off. And we'd saddled up that morning, but he hadn't tightened up his cinch, since that morning. And we took off up that canyon. I was whipping my old mule running up that canyon. I heard boom, 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 boom. Ow! That saddle had rolled with Bency, and he hit the ground. And I treated him just like Orville treated me. I said, get back on that damn mule. Let's go.
Yeah,
I wonder where he learned that from, huh, Benny?
I took a mule and a horse and went hunting up there on the West Side Road with Bency, and I looked back, and he's off on the ground leaving that horse. And I said, Mike, what the hell are you doing? He says, I just don't like to ride. I said, well, that horse doesn't like to be led. Get on that son of a bitch. Let's go.
Honestly, I don't think Bency needs to. I don't think he needs to ride. I think he can get around good enough on foot.
No, but he didn't need to train
Just like Jared.
All the passengers stood in the front.
Just like Jared. You don't need no mule.
Jared gets over the country like a billy goat, son.
He gets
That's
through
all
it.
Right.
Let me tell you
Show
guys
off
something.
now.
I've talked to Richard Dickerson because Jared wanted to go have coffee with Dickerson, and Dickerson said, well, what's he want to come over here for? Is he mad at me? Is he want to fight or what? I said, no, he wants to be in your presence, absorb some of that knowledge. And he started laughing. He says, really? So he thought that was okay, huh? I said, yeah. And he says, well, let's not sit in the coffee shop. He says, let's just go down there. Where's he at? And I said, he's down around Tucson. Well, let's just go over there. He said, hell, bring your buggy and we get some two-way radios. And he says, he doesn't have no horses or mules, huh? I said, I don't think so. He says, well, I don't think that kid can outwalk me. So sometime it's up. The ball is in Jared's court. Give me a date and I'll run it through Dickerson and we'll all show up. And we need to get Chris and Brett over there and video everything, and we'll have
Film.
to be chasing it.
Nothing but film it.
My razor.
Yeah, we
Yep.
should take some mules and go.
Man, I don't know.
Well, look, Jeremy just posted. Derek's hunted with him too.
Yep. He's faster than me, and I reckon I get through the country pretty good on foot, but he's just quick.
He
Who's
goes.
that?
Yep.
Get a little bit in there, and he starts stretching on a fella. He's quick over that stuff.
Got long legs.
When Dickerson went off a bluff, he had some dogs go out, or one dog go off a bluff or something, and he ran over there to grab that dog, and he wears them slick-soled cowboy boots, and he went off that bluff with that dog, and he broke his pelvis.
Oh, that's rough.
He crawled back up there and got on that mule and went to the house, went to the doctor, and so he couldn't hunt for a while, and he was just chomping at the bit to get back out there and get out of bed. And as soon as the doctor said he could go exercise his dogs, he left his mules at home, and he started hunting afoot with the healing up pelvis. Old Dickerson had always been tough. When we was little bitty, he was tough.
That's the best way for to heal that pelvis.
All those
Just use
guys
it.
on that list. Yep. All those guys on that list were probably tough guys.
They're just built different. They had to
I
be.
know.
What do you say,
I know.
Dustin?
I know that Mike Root is.
I think probably Mike Root's the only one still hunting. Brett.
Yeah. Yeah. I
on
didn't look
that
at all
list.
of them. Yeah. I don't know Jim Bob.
Jim Bob is still hunting, and I've never met him. He's kind of one of those guys that's just you hear his name in a whisper kind of deal. And
I've heard it quite a bit. I heard his name quite a bit. Riley Milligan. I don't know who that is. Seems like I've heard Duncan Freeman, Bill Miller. I haven't heard that name. Of course, Hap Blackstone. I've heard him. Cecil Ralston. I used to talk to Cecil often. Dub Evans. Of course, we've all read a lot about him.
Yep.
Of course, Albert Pickens and Homer Pickens. I sent you something on Albert Pickens here, Chris. Bruce Bull. I've heard a lot about him. He was in Arizona too, wasn't he?
yes,
Benny.
yeah,
Hap Blackstone, Richard Holcomb, of course, Terrell Shelley. Yeah, I went to Terrell Shelley's get together this last year. Bill Kinney, I've heard that name. Sewell Goodwin, of course. That interview that Bruce Kennedy did with Sewell Goodwin is one of my favorite. And that guy is just, you could tell when he started talking about the dogs and he started telling a story, he would still just get so excited. You could just see it in his face. He had it in his blood bad. He said, because he was a big rancher. He had several ranches and everything. And he tells in that thing where they'd be gathering cattle or working or something, and they'd cut a lion track. Man, the cow works were over. He was going lion hunting.
Them interviews is what made me move down here, boys. Like them ones
Really?
when you released a lot of them, and then the Dale Lee tapes and stuff.
Yeah.
I found that stuff on YouTube, and I was like, man, I got to do that.
Bruce Kennedy. I mean, when I got those,
Then,
I went over
he
to
got
Tucson.
down here.
Go ahead.
Well, you got down here and tell him what you thought about hunting dry ground lion, Derek.
Oh,
No joke.
Yeah, I got down here and I was like, man, I'm gonna tear these cats up. Yeah, I figured it's a big bobcat. They're easy to catch. These boys riding horses everywhere, son. I run these Appalachians. I'm hard. I got down here and thought I was just gonna wreck house, and got my ass whooped. I'm telling you, the learning curve is sharp.
It is.
And probably started believing that lions can turn off their scent too, didn't you?
Not only that, now I know how to countermand that. Now, if you got to have a dog of every color, and then they can't turn it off. If you're missing one color, they'll turn it right off.
They look back and say, they don't have a blue dog back there. I'm going to turn my scent off. That's what
Derek carries around a little squirt bottle trying to wet the ground down.
Yep.
freshen that scent up. When I first got those Bruce Kennedy videos, I mean, long time ago, and of course I was just infatuated with those guys, and I went over and seen Bruce. I sat and drank coffee with him and talked to him and everything, and when he passed, that's when I thought, man, I somebody should pick that up and do it again, because he sure documented. I mean, he documented the legends, is what he did.
Yeah.
But
and
then I put those Dale Lee tapes up. I put those Dale Lee tapes up, and I got a phone call, and it was Dale Lee's nephew, and he told me, he said, "Hey," "I see you put those up," and I said, "Yes, sir." And he's an older man, and I said, "Yes, sir," and he said, "Well, I own the rights to those things." I said, "Oh," I said, "Well, I'll take them down." He said, "Well, why don't you just buy them from me?" And I never checked to see if they were copywritten or anything like that, or see.
He swindled you.
I gave him $2,000. I gave him $2,000, and he gave me the rights to them. And then he sent me, I forget how many. I don't have any in my office here, but he sent me probably like 6 box sets of those, maybe more than that. I still got a couple sets left. I've had people that call me and they can listen to them for free, but they still want to own the box set.
I need to get one from you, just to have, in case the world goes in end and got to plug in that OCD. Or
I'll give you one.
Yeah, you can't find them on eBay. Yeah, we should raffle one off.
Yeah, I'll give you one to raffle off, Chris. That's a good idea.
Yep.
I'll get in that raffle. I'll tell you.
Speaking of raffle, should we just raffle right now, Dustin?
Oh, yeah.
You do you, bud. I'm just listening and enjoying the conversation.
Well, look, every time I go do it, Jared leaves. And what if he wins? If he wins and he's not right there, I'm going to say you have to be present to win, only for Jared. And it's not Jared's. That you're his wife?
Sorry.
I said it's going to go to Sarah. It's going to go to Sarah anyways, because Sarah's name's on it.
I'm dog shopping right now. The guy called me about a dog.
And what are we raffling there, Dustin? Choices. You got 4 choices.
You got 4 choices. You got an Alpha XL. You got a handheld and collar combo, or 3 collars, or $1,100 cash.
Look, Jared's thinking, do I get the garment or do I get more money for my dog?
I'm getting more money for the dog because he just told me the price. So.
Well, that's the 4 options.
Well,
they can pick any of them.
There you go.
Well, if I don't win that, what do you call it? That XL? Is that the big? Is that the big one that goes straight from the collars to the unit?
Yeah, right.
Yes, it's a GPS.
If I don't win that, you need to give me a discount and let me buy one of those things, because I've been out hunting the river, and then I hit a nice lion track up here behind my house, and I was on the mules when I hit it, but there's buggy tracks all over the place up there, 2-track roads, and I thought, this is kind of silly. So I went up there for the next 2 times in the buggy, and I thought, man, I wish those dogs would trail down, one of those little side canyons. And I knew where that canyon came out, and I knew there was a 2-track road that came right around to it. I thought, man, at least if I had one of those little XLs one of those screens in my buggy, I could hunt like Cody King and just keep an eye on those dogs,
Yep.
I'm used to trying to stay with them as much as I can, being on a mule and everything. But
yeah, I mean, the drive track and the treads are nice. They hook to your handheld, but this one is its own unit in itself. Doesn't have to hook to the handheld or anything else. It's pretty nice.
Man, do you put an external
to it?
Like if you're in a buggy, do you hook up an external antenna?
Yep, you can hook a long range right to it.
Oh, I got one of those too.
Robert just sent me a picture. I'm not even going to try to share it. I'm going to just show you on my phone. And I'm not even going to.
We don't have that.
I'm not even going to edit it. I'm not even going to edit it this time.
Uh-oh.
See if I can get it up there with 140-pound Tom today.
Hey, Benny, what's that white shit it's got all around it?
It's cocaine. They got high. Got it.
They had that lion out of a cake. That's frosting.
It's a nice Tom.
Yes, the XL.
I was
has
gonna
like a
I was gonna
10 to
Photoshop
11 inch
it.
screen.
Boy, I tell
Oh
you
yeah,
what though,
the XL.
Yeah.
Benny can say anything he wants, but if it snowed here, I'd be out in that buggy every single day.
Oh, I
I-
promise you.
You know,
If it snows, I'm in
Yeah.
the powder, boys. I don't care. I ain't
I'm-
proud.
I'm
I
with
suck.
you.
I need it.
This dry ground shit's about to wear me out.
I ain't no good. I need all the help I can get.
You and me both. Yeah, I'm
I bought
gonna
an
get me
XL
one of
and
those.
It's the cat's meow. Well, it just so happens we actually have another one, so maybe we'll see how it goes. Dustin, doesn't that XL? Yeah, it has a 10-inch screen. It has an 11-inch screen, right?
Pretty sure it's 11. I was just looking to make sure real quick, but
We're
Who
gonna
cares?
have to get
You're
Brett
not paying.
that Mexican saddle for that XL.
Gonna have to do what
The
now?
dinner plate, the Mexican
Get him
saddles
that
with the
Mexican
big dinner plate.
horn.
Mount it
Yeah,
right
just
there, backpack antenna.
put some Velcro on it and just stick it right
Mhm.
there. No, I was out this morning with my buggy. I usually go out 2 or 3 times with my mule, and then the rest of the mornings I can go out in my buggy. And I caught 2 lions down here on the river, just taking my buggy, and I can be back home by 10 o'clock. I don't have to waste a whole day, or I shouldn't call it a waste. I don't have to spend a whole day. And then right here behind the house, I cut that track here, not 6 miles from the house, or probably about 10 miles from the house.
That's nice.
I need a new
Mules
house.
are work. Mules are work.
They are work. You get used to it though. You get real efficient at
Yeah.
taking care of them, saddling them, and and the more you ride them, the better they get.
Yep.
I've rode
Well-
since, I've competed and rode, and of course mules. I've only been around mules for like the last probably 20 years, something like that. But prior to that, I rode lots and lots of horses.
I gotta watch YouTube videos on how to saddle them. So
You saddle a mule different than a horse too.
Well, just
you'll only do it wrong once.
Yeah.
true. It's kind of like when my Toyota would break down. I'd look at my buddy because he's a mechanic. I'd be like, "Did I put that part in right?" And he's like, "You'll be the first one to know when you drive it."
Yep.
let's give it away. Let's give it away, Dustin.
Let's do it.
Here we go. I'm gonna share my screen again.
I do
It's
have a
window.
disclaimer. If someone does pick the XL,
What do we got?
I'm still waiting for the XL to get to my house. So as soon as it gets here, I'll send it to you.
Well, son of a bitch.
It'll be sooner than later.
It's okay.
Well,
I don't
they're
want to
very,
anyway.
very wanted.
Let's
Yeah.
There, come here.
Come here, Sarah. It's your XL. Well,
Yeah, it's yours.
wait a minute.
Oh, I
It's
want-
Sarah's money too. You have to
It's
pay
all
me.
Sarah's money.
Good
Everything.
Lord, you way overstepped on your bounds, didn't you?
No, calm down.
Is my name on there?
Tell me when you guys can see the screen.
We can see it.
see it.
Yeah, so you got here's all the names to the right. Jonathan, Terrell, Evan, White, Frank White. He bought
Did you
8 tickets. Russell
And
Poe,
Cody King bought a bunch,
7.
didn't
He bought 8. But
It's a 2-year-old.
what's that? Yeah,
Spin
he
that
bought
thing a
8,
little
but we
bit
only
faster.
had 7 spots, so he got 7. Because that Andrea Razor right here, she jumped in on it. Jared Fay, that's the undercover guy. Chris, me, Robert, Frank White again, Cody King, Frank White. Those are too close together. I don't know if I like that. I tried to separate them all.
You know you can.
And Sarah,
You can click shuffle right there, and it
I
will
got
change
2.
all of them around.
Dustin, Chase has 4. I clicked No, I did, and it kept putting them together. I manually moved them apart and
What
numbered them
do-
so you knew there was 40 here.
Did I get 3, Chris?
So
Chris, did I get 3?
You didn't put on
What?
this one. You put in on the other one.
Oh, I don't even have a chance on this one.
Yeah. Fine.
You're breaking up. What?
I almost got to go to Texas.
Brett's quiet,
No, I was talking to you.
but we sold these quick. Brett wasn't fast enough.
So I wasn't
We
even
ready?
in on this. But when was the first one?
Everybody ready?
Ready.
He did it a little bit.
Oh, that
ago,
was for
Brett.
the Garmin.
Oh,
That was
guy
for that
picked up.
straight collar. Yeah, it was just for
Oh.
a collar.
I think you left.
oh, okay. Dang it.
Don't worry, you'll get another chance. You'll get another chance. Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Let's do it.
Got to give me confirmation. I'm kind of nervous. Can I just stop it where I want to stop it?
There you go. Now it's spinning good.
There it
Oh
goes.
boy. Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? God dang it.
Evan Anderson.
Ah,
There you go.
Who's he?
He goes by E. Anderson.
Yeah. He's here tonight at least.
Cool.
He's on.
Congratulations, man.
He's on here.
He goes by Sarah Fisher.
That was good.
He identifies therapy. How's Chris Perez say that, Brett? Congratulations.
Congratulations. Oh, that's another story. I got to tell this story since Benny brought it up. This is a good
heard or
story.
read the obey
Everybody
code?
appreciates it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There's a guy, we called him Puff. He's good, real good roper. Big old heavy guy and funny guy.
Right.
We're sitting at the beer stand, and we're all sitting at the beer stand at our team roping, and we're all talking. And this girl walks by, and I mean, she's just drop dead gorgeous. And he says, "Woo!" He said, "Man," he said, "look at that girl, look at her." The guy sitting next to him said, "Hey, dude, that's my wife." He looked at him, he said, "Ooh, congratulations." The best, quickest response a guy could have. I laughed so hard.
Kind of took the fight.
Anderson wants to know what he gets. Can we just tell him it's a hat and then do another drawing?
Absolutely.
If you don't know what you got, Anderson, I'm not sure we're going to let you win it.
Is he's the one who won it?
Yep.
Yeah, one, and he only put in one.
A better
One.
guy couldn't have won it.
See, one drawing. So all you people who think, oh man, those other guys, I had 16 spots, 15 spots with 2 people. Robert Chase had 4, so 3 people had almost half of that, and the guy who bought 1 won it. There you go.
All it takes is one.
Anderson, you have your choice. This is what you want. You want either a Garmin XL, which is on its way, a Garmin 300 or 200 with a collar, or 3 collars. Any collar, either the TT 5025 or the 15.
Yep.
Dustin,
Yeah.
or $1,100 cash.
All courtesy of Cold Strike
And you
Gear.
see that sad little boy? All courtesy, all that's where we got him from. That's right. But you see that sad little boy all the way on the left, on the bottom? He needs a dog.
Yep.
Dog's another 3 out now.
I was away. He walks away when we do the drawing. Damn it. I meant you won a hat. That's all you
No.
won. Okay, guys, you guys ready for the big drawing?
Hey, Munchkin. What are you doing? What are you doing, Munchkin? Did you show that screenshot while I was off?
We are raffling.
Look at that. Look at that last comment.
Which one?
Holy shit.
What did it say? I tell you what,
talk
Jared.
about it. I told
really
you he's a
wanna
good
XL,
guy.
I give it to him. Oh, you're giving him the choice. You're giving him a choice. That's up to you. Dustin's the one that holds all this, and he'll get hold of you.
You also got a choice of
So,
$1,100 bucks. That giving away $1,100 bucks is a
Yeah.
little harder to do than just.
Well, it can be Zelled wherever it goes.
Yep.
Jared really wanted to buy a new dog, is what Jared wanted. But it's up to you, Evan. It's all yours.
That
If you want to
would-
give it away, it's your business.
1,100 would have been the down
So you-
payment.
You could pick an XL. You can pick an XL. You can pick a Garmin with a collar, like 300 to 200. You could pick 3 collars, or you can take the $1,100, Anderson. Up to you. I got all your info. You can get a hold of you.
Cool.
Jared is a good guy. It is up to him. Holy shit.
Hey, is that the hound dog community getting along?
That's some good
Oh,
good
Jared ain't gonna
stuff
put
right
that
there.
XL to
That's-
use a foot though. Jared said he needs that $1,100 to get a dog.
That's right. Yeah. Hello, girl.
Well, you have it right
always,
there.
Always in the market for a
If-
good dog.
We'll what do you say, Dustin? Get maybe an email or a phone call sent out, make double sure.
Yeah, I'm fine with whatever. Send me his info. We'll get it figured out.
All right. Dang, look. Poor little puppy. Now
She's a
Jared
little
has to
terrorist.
now Jared has to give that puppy up for auction.
No,
for
this
a
one's a
raffle.
little terrorist. Little rabbit chaser. Just barking all day.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
You guys, we have 70 people here. We have another XL. We have another. I was told not to do another drawing right away, but I'm kind of excited. Like, I got a raffle a dog box too. We got a dog box that for a side by side. The guy's gonna build as soon as whoever wins it, and I just gave them the money to buy the material. So we can raffle it to March and then raffle it, or, get all the raffles to March and then raffle it off in March. That's what we can do. There's no cap on that one. How much is a ticket for the next raffle? The dog box is going to be, what were we thinking, Dustin? $30?
Yeah, I think that'll be $30 with no cap. We'll just run it for a certain amount, and however many come in.
Yep.
So
There's
You
no
have to have
cap
a
on it.
membership.
No.
You have to have a membership.
Hush. You stay out of this.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Woo! That's pretty tough talk for a guy wearing a yellow shirt like that.
That's my
yeah.
work shirt. It's so I don't get run over.
It looks like a big old bumblebee. Chris is froze.
Yeah.
I don't know.
At least his mouth is
Can you hear
closed
me?
this time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No? Oh, I'm just froze.
Yeah, you just froze. We
I
can
think
hear
it's
you.
my computer. Yeah. I think it's my computer. Let me get out of my one program and I'll come right back. Yes.
The guy that's supposed to be in charge has the most difficulty.
Hey, can you
Happens
still hear
every
me?
time.
Yeah, we
Yeah, we
can
hear
still
you.
hear you.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get. I run it through another program. I think my laptop. I had my computer guy dig into it. I think
Do
something.
you run it through OBS?
I usually don't on this, but I have been, and my OBS has been kind of not doing very good. Like my camera's not coming through it right now.
Is this what they were talking about, the leftovers?
Yeah,
This is the leftovers, guys.
that's it
Leftover
right
food.
there.
Well, Make Benny tell a story. Why sign back out of here?
I don't know if I have any stories. Brett
Oh,
has stories.
I got stories about Benny.
yeah. Tell a story about Benny, and I'll be back.
I sent Chris a link last night about drag ground lion hunters, and Benny's name came up.
Cool.
He was. This was back in the whatchamacallit, the Big Game Houndsman page back in 2008, 2009. And said Benny was one of the best ones.
Oh crap! No wonder the undercovers are hanging around.
It was you and a bunch of other fellers from New Mexico. Mike Root was on there.
That's that list he showed us a little bit ago, wasn't it?
I think
Yeah.
so. Jared was off farting around.
Yeah.
Richard Holcomb. You know, I knew Richard's wife Karen way before I knew Richard, and so I talked to Karen pretty regular, and she was telling me that Richard had a kind of a semi-disabled hunter that came and hunted with him every year, and Richard gave him a bedroll and let him sleep underneath the horse trailer on the ground, and he took a cheese, and lunchtime was a chunk of cheese, and he just didn't baby this guy, and Karen starts getting on Richard and says, you know, you ought to take better care of your hunters. That guy can't get around good, and you ought to invest a little bit more in hunter services. So Richard, he starts bringing a cod or something. I don't know. He made it a little softer. Got this guy a meal and fixed him a burger or a steak or something. And the guy says, "What are you doing?" He says, "What do you mean? What do you do?" He says, "I come over here to hunt with you because you don't baby me. You treat me worse than anybody else ever does, and I want to be rough." So Richard taking care of his hunter backfired on him. Karen said, so you never know who you're gonna have.
Yep.
But Richard, that's the way Richard hunted, and that's just how he was. Hell, I hunted with Larry Hendricks over on the Wallapai Reservation, and we'd get back to the pickup, say around 2:30 to 3:30 in the afternoon, and he'd dig around underneath the seat or behind the seat and find a can of beanie weenies or tuna sandwich or some crap. And he'd go over to an oak brush and break off a twig off the oak brush and skin it off with his knife and hand me a can of shit that's been rolling around in his pickup for 3 years. And if you think you can get that open, yeah, I can get it open, Larry. He says, "Well, here's a stick. You can use it like a spoon. Here's our supper."
I think it was Mike Root I was hunting with that told me that time. I got up there and we lit out and everything, and I said, "Man, I forgot. I didn't bring any lunch. I didn't eat even breakfast, and I didn't bring." "Oh no, don't worry." He said, I got some extra sandwiches." And we got up there and we were doing something. I don't know. He said, I think it's about time for lunch. He said, "Oh yeah, I got those sandwiches out." And it was a little pack of those crackers that had cheese in between them. He said, "Yeah, there's like 6 of these little sandwiches in here. You can have one." Man, that's not even going to start to fill me up.
Hey, you remember when we were there with Clump, and he says, "Man, I'm starting to get hungry, and we're out there horseback and in the middle of nowhere." And he says, "Here, guys," he reaches in his coat pocket, hands each of us 2 pecans. This ought to get us through. Hell no, it just used more energy to crack those damn pecans open than it got out of eating them.
We ate, how long were we there, Benny?
4 or 5 days.
We ate every meal out of one frying pan. And it was one he dug out of that old building and had to wash out and clean the crap out of it. And every meal out of that one frying pan. They were good. We appreciated it.
That's pre-season.
Yeah.
Did you leave that frying pan there for the next person?
Yeah, it's still there.
We're supposed to go back, but this time I'm bringing my mule.
There you go.
I ain't riding.
one time in Nevada, me and a buddy broke down, and we were sitting there, and it's pitch dark. It's cold, and it's snow hunting, so it's dirt rotten cold. I'm like, "You got any food?" He's like, "I got ranch beans," and I'm like, "I got 3 cans of smoked calamari."
Wow.
You want to talk about cat food tasting?
Oh, I like calamari.
Yeah,
While
but
we
they,
eat her, oysters or baby clams.
I like the smoked baby clams, but that canned calamari, you had to cook it because if you ate it raw, it was like cat food.
Ugh.
But if you cooked it, it wasn't terrible. But I just remember sitting there with that stupid frying pan that he had laying in his back seat with ranch beans and smoked calamari and a can.
hey, all of that stuff may be tough, but I hunted with George Goswick and Scott Derringer one time, and we ended up staying out all night. And half of us, like us young half, were afoot, and the other guys were horseback. And we let the dogs trail till way in the night. We came up to a big canyon. We couldn't see it. There was no moon out. And so we pitched camp right there. And that just,
Fine.
that, that totaled up. We divvied out the sweaty horse blankets and the saddles. And I got a little sweaty horse blanket that was half as big as me and laid there on the damn rocks in the ground, shivering to death all night. And Felipe Perez, he was the sheep rancher up there. He was getting cold, so he torched a full-size juniper. And I thought, son of a bitch, we're going to burn the whole mountain down. And it was warm for about 3.5 minutes. And we didn't have any water and we didn't have any food. We got back to the pickups the next morning at 11 o'clock. And I'll tell you what, the cafe in town never looked so good.
Man. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I guess we could talk about what we're supposed to talk about. We listened to Richard Dickerson rate dogs, right? What about your houndsman? How would you rate a houndsman? Jared has a theory.
I have 4
Want to tell
levels.
us how you rate houndsmen there, or what level you put?
So
What are they?
your level 1 guys are your, what's the proper word to say this?
Gunsels.
Guff, yeah. Yeah.
Like me?
Their dogs aren't that good. They don't get out of the truck and try. They just drive around and listen to dogs bark. Then you have your number 2 guys, which are your weekend warriors, your guys that have other obligations to life and they get out when they can. And then pleasure guys or whatever. And then you have your level 3 guys. Those guys I call them crack addicts. They hunt hard. I mean, they go 90 miles an hour. They don't sleep. They hit it hard and they go all the time. And they catch lions and they have good dogs. But then you have your killers. And your killers aren't killing everything on the mountain. They're catching. And they make it look easy. That's your Hal Meekums, the Derringers, Larry Hendricks, Richard Dickerson. Those are your killers. I call them killers, even though they don't kill everything. But you call them and they're like, yeah, we caught 4 this last week, and it's just like, God, That's how I rate them.
I think I'm about a 2 point. I think I'm about a 2.5.
I don't even think I'm on that scale.
If you rated them,
well, I ain't quite a meth addict, but
2 point.
I do
That's
have
one.
other obligations.
That's one more than I am. If you rated yourselves 1 to 5, what would you rate yourself? Like a dog.
Point.
Well, I'm going to give
Jared,
myself
what would you rate yourself? Like Dickerson
I'd probably
does.
give myself a 3.
Go ahead, Brett.
Guys, you need to. This is something that I've had to work hard at, you got to kind of determine the area that the people are hunting in too. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's how often, how many days do you have to go out and beat the country before you hit a good track?
Man, I've always said if you've got good dogs and you're in good country and you're getting after it, then everything that's left is timing and luck.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Well, I mean, the knowledge of the countryside where you know.
Yeah,
like
but those lions, you can have the mountain, you can have a little mountain range just overrun with lions, and 2 weeks from now there won't be any lions in there for a month.
Yep.
or around here, you know, you can go up here where I hunt. I had hunt for a long time, and I'd cut a track, and I caught a lion up there. But now you can't find a lion track in there. I mean, I don't know where the heck they go, but they're not in there.
I got a
buddy.
But does that put you in a rating? Does that?
Dumbass.
Go ahead, Jared.
well, you know, talking
lazy.
agreeing
I don't
with
want to go
Benny,
nowhere else.
You know, I just agreeing with Benny. The only thing that matters
After being in good country with good dogs is just luck. You know, I call a buddy and I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong? I don't get it. I'm trailing all day, but I ain't catching nothing. And he's just like, I don't know. He's like, you're due. And I'm like, yeah. But we start talking to him and I'm like, how are you doing that good? And he's like, I'm just luckier than most right now.
I think luck and timing comes into a big part, but also these guys that have been doing it for years and know the country they hunt and know the lions in the area
and where they cross.
They know where to go to produce a successful trailing versus just and I'm not saying anybody here does it, but just you can go hike a random canyon and hope you get lucky, or you've spent 10 years learning the country and learning the cats in that country to help yourself be successful. Timing is still a big deal.
Dustin,
Yeah.
let me carry that farther, because guys that have done it enough and paid attention and done it hardcore, so they'll be on the scale tipping it at around a 9 if everybody stops at 5, because they don't have to go to the same old country. They can go to a new piece of country and look at it and see where everything's going to travel.
They do. They have that knowledge of how those cats move and how they work. And even going from state to state, you give that guy that, let's say, hunted Utah his whole life, knows that country. You bring him down here to Arizona and you give him a day or two in new country, he's going to figure it out.
He'll figure it out. Yeah, exactly.
That's just like Steve Smith saying that story with Dale Lee. You know, Dale Lee, him and Steve was hunting, and Dale said, well, what happened? And Steve told him, and so Dale says, well, what are you going to do? He says, well, tomorrow I'm going to go over here and go this way. And Dale said, well, no, you need to go this way. And Steve said, no, I think I'm going to go that. So the next morning, Steve went where he told Dale he was going to go. And he got back in, and Dale said, so what'd you do? He says, well, I went over there. He says, well, what'd you find? He says, he wasn't there. He said, so he got that very afternoon or evening, he went over to where Dale said, and he found that lion's track. And so Steve asked him, so Dale, what's the difference? How come you knew that lion went over there and I didn't know? And he said, Dale looked at him and said, because I'm a lion hunter and you're not.
That's right.
And I think some of these guys, especially
those old timers, didn't hold back.
No, but I think some people, like it or not, just have a knack for it and
have that intuition.
They can soak up that knowledge and have that intuition. Whereas you have a peckerwood like me that just hopes to grab some crumbs of all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Here lately, I've been really good at determining where the javelina are. And by golly,
So really, how many you catch?
them terrorists been catching them.
Tell you what, I can find
there
a
you go,
bear
you're
where they ain't
catching.
supposed to be none, boys. On accident. That's all I can do
But
these
does
days.
how many you catch? Does that rate you, or is it how you know what I mean? As far as being a houndsman or a dogman or whatever you're doing.
I think there's too many variables and too much different country.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Dustin.
Too many.
And how many guys do you know that are able to hunt 10 days? Say dry ground hunter, able to hunt 10 days in a row. Can just go out and pound the ground for 10 days in a row. I mean, I've been doing it a long time, and I've never been able to do that.
Only the guys that are doing it full time.
Yes.
Full time, and they got 30 to 40 dogs.
They got a bunch of dogs and good dogs because they're pounding the ground all the time. They got to go out there and wake them up to get them to go.
Yeah, you got 30, 40 dogs, and you got 6, 7 mules on top of it.
You have to have that many dogs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got 30, 40 dogs and then 10 mules, or say 6 mules, your feed bill's almost $1,500-$1,800 a month.
Man, if you got 6 mules, you got too many mules unless you're taking hunters, because if you got all those mules standing around eating feed, as soon as you get on one, they're way on top of you instead of you on top of them.
Well, that's why we ride mules too, is because, I mean, they're tough. And I think,
Does it make that big a difference, Brett? Like, were you guys I don't know. I ain't hardly rode mules. I've rode a couple and I ain't never had no luck. Are they that much tougher than a good horse?
A good horse. I've heard a lot about good horses, but I think day in and day out, the mules, it's like Benny was saying. If you stand those suckers up too long, that's when you got a bad mule. So you gotta use them. And
and I think they're a lot. I mean, a good horse is a good horse, but a good mule in some rough country is hard to beat with the way they place their feet and their demeanor when they get into a tough spot. A mule will sit there and work its way through it, whereas a horse binds up both his front feet, he's going to freak.
And to ride right across this flat country on a mule, and I got a real good mule now, they can be so irritating.
Yeah.
I mean, just terribly irritating. But when you get up on the side of that mountain, you're trying to pick your way up through that narrow place, and the boulders are around the rocks, and you're on a little bitty old deer trail, and that mule's ears go forward, and he starts going like that. Man, you're glad you're on a mule right then.
I don't know. I miss my stick horse. I'd have taken my stick horse over a dozen good mules, and I've got a good mule. And my horse, I just prefer a horse.
And some of those, there's guys that are straight that way. I mean,
but like they said, who wants to take a good horse and torture them like that?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, Brett, you've been around my stick horse.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I rode lots of horses. I mean, but ours were mostly performance horses. I mean, that's what they were.
It's different for sure.
And when I first decided to get a mules, when I ran into Jim Hyatt out here, big rancher, and I was hunting this little mountain range I was talking about, and I was up there on a nice little 3-year-old gelding that I was riding and training, and I was just riding him in a bosal, and up there in that big volcanic rock busting around, and he come up there and he seen me. He said, "Man, you're riding this nice horse up here?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, and he looked at me. He said, "Well, you need to get a mule for what you're doing." I said, "A mule?" And he said, "Yeah," because I'd never been around mules or anything. And then he pointed his finger at me like that and said, "Get a good one." In other words, don't mess around with a bad one. And I've never had any interest in training a mule. I trained Agnes, but she was just a big old pet. But I never had any interest in training mules and trying to sell them or anything like that. Honestly, they for most of the time they irritate you. They really do.
If anybody wants a good mule, Max Nichols has one for $6,000 right now.
That's cheap for a good
10-year-old, just like mine.
Nowadays.
Coming from Max, it'll be.
He said, though, I asked him, I said, I said, what's the problem with it? Well, I said, I asked him, I said, what's its quirks? And he said, well, and those guys they can ride right out their ranch, their farm, and go right hunt. And he says, the only thing about that mule is when you ride out, he's a little boogery on the barn sour. So, and I asked him if he loaded in the trailer and all that. And he said, yeah, I'll send you some videos later. If anybody, and that's a good deal for a mule. Now, I got my mule free. And when someone gives you something free, it's scary. Just like dog, anything. And I'm kind of asking him questions, and he's like, oh yeah. And his son's in the background kind of shaking his head. No. So I said, well, this is going to be fun. We'll see what happens. So, but I always have a plan. I take my horse, my mule, whatever I get, I take it home. I tell my son, Kyle, that this is the best thing I ever rode. It's broke. Go try it out. And he rides it around, and I'm kind of watching, and he's figured out that the way I look at him now, he comes back. I said, how do you ride? He goes, you didn't even ride him, did you? I said, no, but the guy told me he's broke. So I'm old. I got brittle bones. I don't want to, he's young. He'll heal, but that mule I got, Osage, she ain't big, but I'm going to tell you what, we've been in I got her stuck in a tree. We was in Globe, and I was going up this stupid mountain following dogs, and I had to walk most of the way up. When you're walking like Jared and you're in real bad country, if you can walk, it's definitely a lot faster to walk if you're not lazy and fat like me. But, I was dragging her up through little tiny passes, and I had fell down, and she just wouldn't step on me. She'd just follow me up. And if she had to go around, she was real careful about stepping on me. But I got her under a tree, and we walked trying to get through this stuff, and her saddle horn hooked in a fork of a tree. And she got stuck there. I mean, it was horrible. I was trying to get her out of this tree, and I lost my, I got her out, got all the way down the mountain, and realized that part of my saddlebag, my top part, had fell off, and it had my $1,000 camera in it. So I had to tie her up and go back, and I lost my phone. And the only reason I found my phone is because I had my work phone, because it was on a Friday, and I think I was supposed to be at work. And so I called my daughter and said, hey, can you send me the location of my phone? And she sent me a pin, and I went back up there, and it was right where I got stuck in that tree. And I watched my GoPro before I went up there, and I noticed before the tree it was on, after it was off. So I had to walk back up this mountain like 600 yards and find my saddlebags. But she just, I tried to pull her out of the front of the trailer one time with the saddle on, and the saddle horn hooked the door, and her front feet kind of came off and dangled off the trailer. And I just pushed her back, and she's a real good mule. Real good mule.
You need to get you one like this, Chris. Ain't got to worry about that. Don't need that horn, can't rope or nothing.
Was that an English saddle?
Is that one of those Australian saddles?
That's Australian, yeah.
English saddle or what?
I've always wanted to try one of those.
I tell you what, a colt don't exist to get me out of that thing.
You sit in it, not on it.
Yep, you sit in it, and it's like you're sitting in a chair, and you got them pulleys over your thighs. You could ride some rank business in one of them. And you got free motion in your legs.
Have you ever seen that saddle I ride? It's built kind of similar to that. And then I can't. What do you call them? I can't say the squaw. The other word for squaw breasts. They call them. They're like those.
They just squaw tits.
Like,
there you go. Benny will say it. I'm not
squaw
going to say it.
tits. You can say it.
Okay, squaw tits. I got squaw tits on it.
Hey,
and I had the guy build it for me. I said, this is what I do, and I don't need all that weight, because I got 14 roping saddles out there I've won, and I said I don't need all that weight, and it, like you said, it's got those free swinging stirrups where when you're going downhill you can get your feet way out in front of you. Yeah, and those are nice. Those are nice saddles. They really are.
Yeah, and it don't weigh nothing. I bet it don't weigh 18 pounds or something. It's light.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are cool. Always wanted to try one and never rode one.
Yeah. My saddle's too heavy.
Yeah, that one I
So
like it. It's a
Way
little
too
hard
heavy.
on my old butt
I've
right
had-
now.
So, Brett, I think another name for that is bucking swells.
yeah.
Swell, yeah, bucking swells,
buck rolls. Yeah,
bucking
yeah.
rolls. Yeah, that's what it is. We always just called them squat tits. Is
Yeah.
what we
Yeah, I
always
was
called them.
trying to think of the name that was like the politically correct what to call them. I couldn't think of.
Yeah,
Like,
but
We already did politics already, so we're out of that. So you don't have to be correct after that.
yeah, I don't even
No,
think
good
of it
saddle.
that
Good
way.
saddle matters. Good saddle really matters.
And padding,
Yeah.
Skiddo saddle pad. If you get a chance, buy one of those. They sent me one for free, and it's got a like a real coarse where your saddle sits on top of it, real coarse, and it's padded up real good, and it fits your mule real well, and your saddle doesn't slip on that pad. And if you ever pad it up, sometimes you got to double pad, and you're going up and down steep grade, and your cinches come a little loose, and that pad will work out the back of your saddle. This one won't do it. I mean, it sits right there. I love them. They're kind of pricey, but
with these deals here, they got to fit you just right, and they got to fit your horse just right. But it fits the horse just like an English saddle. It's got panels.
I was going to
there's
say
that
they got
air channel.
panels.
Yeah, got air channel runs all the way down, and you hawk these things into them. There ain't no loose girth business. I mean, you hawk them in there.
Yeah,
and
mine has that air path down the middle of it too.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that stuff. I'm about a Nazi on saddle fit. I see somebody just swapping saddles on horses that ain't built the same, and I start getting sour in the mouth. I got to go somewhere. I'll get in a fight quick.
Oh, I just use 2 pads on mine.
Well, you can pad them up.
I've always used 2 pads on my horses, though.
On them deals, I just run just a schooling
I've never
pad.
had a problem. I've never.
Sometimes I wear 2 socks.
Yeah.
How many pairs of underwear though? Depends on how long you're going to be out.
That's right.
Just carry an extra pair in your back pocket.
The 2 socks ain't for padding. The 2 socks are so he don't come back without one.
I'll tell you what, that's another thing. Is some of this country, like where me and Jared was a hunting, I think I told him down there, like, I ain't never owned a horse. I'd ride in that place. I'd had to go way around and then leave the horse up here and hike down in there any dang ways.
You gotta be handy in some of these areas down here.
Man,
I just ain't never had a horse that I didn't like enough to take him in them little holes,
You gotta
cut
be
him all the way off.
or otherwise
me and Cody rode down there with Jared, and we decided to leave camp and go up that hill. And I'm gonna tell you what, I got boxed in, and we had to go straight up another hill. It's kind of tough country until you get down in the bottom close to the border. I think it was the 3rd day we went and rode down by that border. Oh, it was just nice, rolling, good country. Just too sandy, grassy, like brown grass, yellow grass.
Yeah.
Yellow grass. That's a killer.
A lot of it. There's a lot of it down here this year.
It's bad. And my dumbass keeps going down there every time I get a couple of days. I swear this weekend I'm going up Chris's country.
Yeah. It's
3C.
Chris's country is too cold.
Come
I
down
don't
over
mind.
here. I'll show.
I moved here from Alaska, man. I ain't
been
no cold.
50s.
It don't get cold here, does it?
I was wearing 3 sweatshirts today and it was 55.
Well, it's just like we was out that when me and Jared went out. We was going to
dang,
get
I
caught
was
by
in
the
t-shirt
dark.
when it
He's
was
like, you
30.
better get your jacket. And I was like, I don't need no jacket.
I'm a sissy. I hate the cold.
I still got your gloves in my truck. They're still in my center
I
console.
seen Jared's.
Where the-
I seen Jared's stovepipe glowing red, and he has an insulated tent. It had to be 90 degrees in that tent.
Oh yeah.
I was sweating standing outside in it.
Let me tell you what. Nobody gets cold like Benny gets cold. I never seen anybody so cold in my life. I honestly thought he was going to
70
die.
degrees.
I mean, he was.
That was a unanimous thought, Brett.
Man, I stopped and I pulled my down jacket out of my my bag there and started, and he had a little old Levi jacket. That's all he had. And we still had a couple hour ride back to camp.
Yeah, at least 45 miles, I think.
And it was dark. And I mean, when it got dark and it got cold up there in those
There was
hills,
no moon either.
he got back and then his old truck wouldn't start. He was shaking. I had to put him in the trailer, and I had one of those little old propane heaters, and he sat at the table as my camper trailer, and he sat at the camper in the seat at the camper trailer. And I put that heater underneath that table. It was going up on him. Then I had to take my generator over there and get his truck started. I didn't think he was going to make it.
And how many times did I go back?
You never went back with me.
That's it. I said, I'll go hunting with you down in the desert where we can use our Bermuda shorts and our flip-flops.
Well, when we caught that lion, it was pretty close to up there in the high country, but it was later in the year.
Yeah, pretty close to 70 degrees.
Yeah, it was nice weather.
That's like when I went up in northern Nevada, go lion hunting with my buddies. They're like, yeah, you'll love it up there. There's lions everywhere. I got up there. I got stuck for 5 days, the road, because we had rain and then snow. And I had my 2500 pickup, and that thing wouldn't climb a hill. I had to wait for the ground to melt out. I never went back until the snow melting was gone in June.
Where in Nevada did you go?
Jarbidge.
It's a
I hunted the I went up there and hunted the Jarbidge before.
It's kind of getting shot out a little bit now, I heard, but I don't like it there. It's too dang cold.
I stayed lost the whole time. I didn't know the country.
Yeah.
And then I went over and hunted what they called the Badlands over there. I hunted that. Just because the guy who had the ranch there said, "Oh, nobody needs to be going in there by themselves. That you need to have somebody with you."
Was that the Diamond A?
No, that's the open box arrow.
Okay.
And I went up there and I left right from their place and went into the Badlands and stayed for a few days. And it wasn't that bad a country. It really wasn't. It was just remote, real remote.
Yeah. Well, that's the cool part about some of those spots in Nevada is, I mean, there's a highway in Nevada that's still a dirt road.
Yeah.
You can camp right off that dirt road and not see a truck drive by for 2 weeks.
I never seen any. I was up there for over a week and I never seen anybody.
Yep. It kind of sucks when you're in like my old 92 Toyota with 400,000 on it. You're like, well, if I break down out here, I'm kind of screwed, but
it's 365 up there too, ain't it? Don't the season don't go in Nevada?
Yeah. Yep. I want to talk to. That's another thing.
And you're allowed 2 tags,
2
right?
tags. Yep. That's another thing I want to talk about Richard Dickerson about is night lions. I didn't think about them being up at night.
That's what I was thinking. I'd like to go up there in the summer and run them in the dark. I bet that's a good time. I like hunting at night.
Richard said no. Richard said don't do it.
It
don't
sucks.
Night hunt. He was against night hunting, wasn't he, Benny?
Right. Yeah,
Richard Dickerson?
Yeah.
He said it's not as easy as you think.
No,
yeah.
It's hard. He said
but
it's real.
He did it at night, but he said it's not the way.
Well, you're not trailing into a bedded down lion.
He's awake and moving.
You're trying to catch up to a lion that's already up and alert and moving.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I didn't start hunting at 9-10 o'clock at night. I'd start hunting at 3 in the morning, and I'd go till 8 in the morning, and I'd get 4 or 5 hours in before it hit 95, 100 degrees.
That makes sense.
That's what the 24 hours good for. You can trail into the dark, and you can start early.
Yep. But
yeah, it'd be nice if we could cut a track at 2 or 3 in the morning and get after them. I think that'd be the way.
Yeah, but catching a lion in pitch black, I remember one time I was 200 yards from the dogs, and it took me 2.5 hours to figure out how to get around this rock cropping to get there.
Oh shit!
That's dangerous. That's dangerous stuff at night. For the dogs.
Oh yeah, you hit the dogs with a flash or a spotlight, and they're 200 yards above you, and you shine both ends of the rock wall, and you can't see the end either way. You're like, well, just pick right or left. Well, some of you guys don't have to because you got the handheld. Mine just gives me arrows. So
Mm.
This is
Hey,
Frank.
Chris,
Frank, what?
Chris, you used the Astro down this country, didn't you?
Yeah.
The Garmin Astro. Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
Oh, my Alpha. I used the Garmin 220.
Yeah, that's what I
Garmin
mean.
220. I just got the Alpha.
But that Astro
You know what the
220
good
worked
thing
all right?
about when I was using that 220? Oh yeah, I never had because nobody's on it. Nobody had the. I didn't have no interference. So
I thought about getting me
we
another
have those
one
old
then.
DC 30s or 40s. Yeah,
I like
I mean,
my little
I still
Alpha
have
10.
mine. I think it's a good one. He has an Alpha 10, and I bear hunt, so that Alpha 10 don't do me no good.
No,
It would probably,
I
well, even when I'm line hunting on a mule, I like to see the mountain and if I can get around it or what I need to do.
I can't keep up with
But
my
Jared's
dogs. I
walking.
couldn't do that. I couldn't do that Alpha 10. I can't keep up with my dogs. They're gone. They get on anything and they get too much Eastern blood in most of them. They're getting out of the country. So I want to see how I can get to them quicker without going straight to them over top of everything. It would do me no good.
See, me and Benny remember what it was like to chase beep.
I used that until
Oh.
2016.
Did you?
Yep.
Man, I chased beep up and down those canyons a lot.
If you know how to read it, I knew a guy. I was with the guy that read those. I mean, I just got my Garmin, and I hunted with him, and he could tell you. I mean, how far do you think they are? And he goes, I don't know, 300-400 yards. And I looked down, they'd be 300 yards. Yep. I said, how far do you think they are now? They were like 800-900 yards, and he'd be like, well, I don't know, about 800-900 yards. And I'd look at my Garmin, and I'd say, God dang.
You get pretty good at it when you're in decent country, but if they get too far out and you get too far away from them and you're in that canyon country, that's when you start getting beep. I call it chasing beep because it's I guess bouncing through those canyons.
Yep. Get bounce off the mountain.
Yeah. I never owned any of those. I just
let me answer Mr. White. Let me answer Mr. White Racing real quick. He's asked if there's any more raffles coming up. Yes, Mr. White Racing. We're going to raffle a dog box, and we're probably going to do another bundle raffle. I just don't know when yet. The dog box, I'm going to start posting that soon. That's probably just be a $30 raffle, and we'll give it away in March. I had to answer that question real quick. Go ahead, Benny. Before you fall asleep.
I never had until I got those DC 30s. That was the very first collars I ever had to catch up with my dogs. I just always had to go the direction they were going in the country and try to figure out where that line would be going and get up on a high spot and be quiet and listen.
Well, and then you put your hands over your ears and you open your mouth just look, and you can hear them better.
Oh hell, I can't hear shit this side. This ain't that good. It wouldn't do me no good.
I remember I forget who it was told me that
I tell you, I saved a lot of gas money.
Can you still get map cards for the 220?
What was that?
Or the 320? Can you still get map cards for them? Do you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could probably just copy mine and give you one. Put it on a.
I still gotta.
But I tell you, when I got my GPS, I saved a lot of gas money, especially when I was bear hunting. A lot of gas money.
I'd love to get the 300, but that's too rich for my blood, boys. One of them deals.
You guys talking all these numbers. I don't even know what I got. I know my old one that I had was gray.
I think you have the 300, Brett.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a newer one, but the old one I had was gray, and then I got one after that, and I lost it. It's up there on the mountain somewhere, and then I got this one.
I think it was Rick Cooley. I think Rick Cooley sent me a picture and said, "What does this mean?" I said, "Well, it's your dog. How far your dog ran, and your average speed, and how far he's been." if you don't reset those every time.
Yeah.
And I forget to reset mine sometimes. I'm real bad about resetting my mileage to see where they ran. So
I used to do that. I don't do it anymore.
I like this Dog Trip Pathfinder a lot, man. It's nice maps and everything, but just running through my cell phone is just, it's too much pain. I can't keep a charge on it. I'm constantly packing batteries and having to plug it in, and it's hard to navigate between dog to dog if I need to tone one or something. I don't know. It's just a pain. It's a great idea, but I'd rather have a handheld I could swap the batteries on. I need that. I run out of juice too much. I have to cut a hunt short because I'm running out of track.
The 220, you could just swap out the batteries, put a couple double A's in it. That 300 is rechargeable. So,
but the battery lasts forever.
And the good thing about those, like the 300s and 200s, they last, and it has the 300 has the dynamic tracking, to where
what's
dogs are
dynamic
under
trapping?
A tree and you're taking a nap with them, it shuts off. It stops that tracking. The dynamic tracking.
I didn't know.
So when you stop, when you stop and drink your coffee, and them dogs are just laying down under those shade trees, it shuts it down, saves that battery. So it knows when they're not doing nothing, and it quits tracking. As soon as they move again.
What update rate do you use on your collars?
I always do 2.5. I like to see where they're going.
Yeah, mine are updated quick.
2.5 seconds.
It depends where I'm at.
I got fast shit. I like to know where they're doing. If I did on 30 seconds, I'd walk the wrong way for 150 yards before they realize they turned this way.
I did 30 seconds.
When I'm down on the river, I do 2.5 seconds. But when I'm up in the mountains, I do the longest one it's got. I forget what it is. I put it on the longest one.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah.
I don't think you have to on those. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's hard to change it on mine, too. Mine's hard to change it. You got to go through this whole menu, bunch of crazy bullshit. It takes minutes and minutes, and I don't know. I'm one of these days I'm gonna go back to Garmin. I had a 100 Alpha 100, and it took a swim one time, and I couldn't find it in the river.
I had 3 Alpha 100s, and the screen took a crap on all of them.
No kidding. I ended up with
one. I'd get one thin black line, and then it just would get fatter and fatter and fatter until the whole screen was black. So I quit using the 100s. Then I'm not rich enough for the 300s or 200s.
Yeah, I know it. That's a lot of money. I may try the I don't know. I think I'm gonna try the 220 again, but then I worry about range. You know what I mean?
I haven't used mine for a year, but I never had a problem with it. You know, the normal problems.
No, you lost what's his face? You lost your what's his face in the Patagonias for like 6 hours.
Well, that was because I had my Alpha 100 and I broke the antenna and I had to hold the antenna on to try to get them. Remember?
That was it.
And then I did have 2 collars on, and he got way down there though. He went way down in the bottom, trailing something rabbit or I don't know what it was. But
didn't he almost end up in
he dirty? He was way down there, and the other dogs had trailed. We found the lion track down that wash, an older one. That's what I don't like about cold trailing dogs. Sometimes Dirty's a dog that, gosh dang it, when he gets a track, it's hard to kind of pull him off. It's kind of annoying sometimes. He'll stay in a spot and try to find it, and then he'll go back, and then he'll come back, and then he'll move further, really slow. So I think he was going backwards. I don't know.
Gotcha.
He got way down there though. Him and another dog.
Guys, I'm gonna have to bug out. I gotta go.
I know Benny's about to bail. I'm surprised Benny's still here.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
See you.
Good luck.
No problem. Thanks for the stories.
Show us some pictures of lions.
If I can catch one.
I forgot what one looks like.
Jared, get me a date.
Huh?
Get me a date.
Oh, yep. I'll text you. Actually, I might text you. I might call you tomorrow, Benny, about that dog, maybe.
All right. Perfect.
All right. We'll see y'all later.
You
Bye.
guys.
we go. Got rid of the old guys. Now to talk some shit. Well, Jared, if Anderson ain't bullshitting you,
Yeah, that's
you
a
could
piece of
get a
luck.
200 or a 300.
Who? What happened?
I tell you
Oh,
what,
yeah.
to know where those dogs.
What are you talking about?
What?
Who's bullshitting me?
Anderson. He's talking about giving you the win. He got one. He
Anderson.
won. He said you have it.
Anderson won, and he said you could have it.
He's lying.
No, he go back in the comments. Let me
Sir,
go back
can you
up
go
here,
back
Jared.
into
Let
the
me just
comments?
post it. Jared,
if he ain't
look,
messing with
right
you,
here.
it'll be.
Dustin XL like 10-inch screen. I put it out there. I tell you what, Jared, really want it. Look, and I said, Jared's trying to get money to get a dog. So you were on, and he won it. And I said, look at that poor little guy down there in the left corner. He really needs a dog, right? And then we was talking about it, and I said, I told him what he could win. I told Anderson what he could win. You need to take that guy lion hunting.
I do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know what to
So
say.
I told him it's up to you, whatever you want to do. And so Dustin will get hold of him.
Yeah, have Dustin get a hold of him.
No, I said, that's just kind of legalities where if he tells Dustin, hey, give Jared the win,
Yeah.
that guy only had one entry in too.
That's crazy.
And so if there's your 300.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you, Matt, I tell you what, I like my 300. I don't know it all the way yet, but it's really kind of easy to use. But I also had somebody who was smart on it, and I can't say it because, but
the way you hunt on foot, Jared, that being able to see where them dogs are going will change. It'll change your game. You'll be able to cut them off.
Look, Jared.
Son of a gun. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
That's a good dude right there.
Anderson, you can have his firstborn child.
Yeah. You're going to be
Sarah
waiting
hear
a
that?
while.
Did Sarah hear that?
You're going to be waiting a while.
You never know.
Never know.
The 300 and 200 plus will keep change for up to 55 hours charge. People are complaining some of the 25 callers. Listen, it's with everything. When I bought the 220 and Buddy called me from W, lots of props to this dude. He might be a butthole now, but when he called me and said, you don't want the 40s, because I was like, yeah, I'm getting the 40s. I got money. I want the new. And he called me and said, hey, man, you probably don't want those because the GPS is on the bottom. It's not on top, and you're going to lose. That's the problem. He says, you want those 30s. And I'm going to tell you what, I bought those in 2008, and I've put new batteries in them or antennas, and I used them all the way up. So 2008, I used them all the way up till 24.
When did the Alpha 100s come out with the TT10s?
Shoot, man, I don't know. I ran DC 30s all the way up till 2.
The 100
2014.
It was 13, I think. I think it was 13 or 14. They come out with the Alpha 100.
Yeah, because that's right when I started lion hunting.
I didn't even know. I didn't even plan on getting a handheld or nothing yet.
They're talking to the old timers
about lion hunting and stuff. They're like, yeah, you can get a beat box, or you can just. When I lived in Montana, they're like, you just hike the lion track out until you think the lion's jumping, and you just cut your dogs loose. So that's what I did for a little bit,
and then I saw that the Alpha 100 came out.
What colors do you have, Jared?
TT15s, and then the TT15.
What colors do you have?
Just the 15s.
The X's and the.
So I have 50s. The 25s.
Yeah,
and I got 10 of them. And I honestly, they hold a good charge. They really do. I don't have a problem with them yet, but like I said, they're only a year old, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. There's your 300.
That's all.
And a collar, so you can get a 25 or a
Nice. I've never
And honestly,
had
I
any,
get
I've never had any
the
issues
300.
with the X's that everyone's talking about.
You know, it's just like a car. You can buy a good one or a bad one, brand new. You know, I personally haven't heard nobody talk shit about a Tundra too much. Not like a Dodge transmission or
Yeah.
the block on a Chevy or the rear end on a Ford. But I got lucky with my 30s. I don't think I had any go bad with my 30s.
Like the normal
I don't.
TT15s, probably the best collar Garmin ever made. I never had issue one with the TT15s. Besides the battery life only being about 48 hours if you ran it 2 minutes. The battery life was the biggest issue. If you had it at 2.5 seconds, it'd last about 20 hours.
Yeah, my battery on my collars ain't real good. I can't hunt 2 days and leave them on them in the box. I got to take them off and
Yeah.
try to let the truck run and charge them every other night. It's a real pain in the ass.
I hear you. My wife, so I had a hunt down on the border and my generator won't start. And all of a sudden I go and give it another pull and the whole ripcord comes out with it. And I'm like, shoot. So I couldn't get the bugger to start, so I was already mad. And I just call my wife and I'm like, go to town and get me a new generator and I'll deal with this one later. So she goes to town at like 8 o'clock at night, picks up the little suitcase Predator ones for like $400, $350 at Harbor Freight, and then drives 2 hours south and drops me off a generator. Those little suitcase generators with it full of gasoline. Yes, she did fill it up full of gasoline for me too. But those little suitcase generators
Hey, that's good.
40 pounds, God, they're worth their weight in gold when it comes to charging stuff at camp.
Yeah.
Cell
I got a
phones. Because
Yep.
that's stupid. All the new trucks don't charge nothing unless they're running.
Yep. I got a little
You know what?
800-watt two-stroke generator that I picked up for like $50. I've had it for, I don't know, a decade. It's fantastic. It's a little bitty unit. It ain't
My
15
cousin.
inches, but 15 inches.
Yeah. I borrowed my cousin's 1000. He has a little Honda 1000 I borrowed, and I ran my laptop, my internet, Starlink, and charged all my collars on it. I'm gonna tell you what, but my 2015 Tundra, I plug all my collars, 10 of them, because I had shock and I had my 30s and my shock collars, and I'd plug them in all night. And that old battery, and I thought, man, them Toyota batteries, I was at the dealer. I said, man, I really like them Toyota batteries. And he said, oh, those are just the what are those? What's that big brand of battery?
Everstart or whatever.
It's just
Yeah.
it's one of them interstate.
Oh, okay.
And it's just one of those with a Toyota sticker. But I tell you what, those batteries, they last me 4 or 5 years, and I could charge them all night on that. I have a little inverter, a little 450 to charge all my batteries, and my truck would still start. But I don't like generators. I hate the sound of a generator when I'm camping. It's annoying. But I tell you what, they usually, like those little generators, they'll charge them up in a few hours. So, so that's my technology I do. That's, but to run a generator all night drives me crazy. I can't do it.
I only have to do mine for about 3 hours, and then everything's charged up. 3-4 hours.
Yep.
Hey.
Yep.
That's what
Get back
I like
to camp,
about
plug it in, go to bed.
Yeah. My little generator only runs for 4 hours, and then she runs out of gas. That's perfect.
Them little Honda generators, I think they get about 8-10 hours. Or the little Predators, not the Honda.
8 hours.
8 hours.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube, look up generators and the comparison, and they got a couple of videos where they take every generator, even the Harbor Freights. And
I've used a bunch of them.
Well, the thing with Harbor Freight is either they'll work or they don't. If you get a good one, the thing will last forever. If you don't, it won't.
With Harbor Freight stuff and the Champion stuff at Lowe's, you buy the protection plan for 2 years, you're probably going to kill it if you use it heavy. Like the way we use generators in Alaska, you just use the shit out of it. If you run, the trick is run it at half capacity. So if it's a 1,000-watt generator, only use 500 worth on it, and that sucker will run for 12 or 14 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all the 5-gallon ones, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So if you need it, like if you're trying to thaw out everybody's trucks at 35 below, you're gonna need it to run for a long time, you know. But and like this little one, I'll max it out. I don't care for 3.5 hours. That's all I usually need. But with when you buy those cheap Johnnies, get that protection plan. If you're using it heavy, who cares if you tear it up? You take it back, they'll give you a new one. You know what I mean? And then you get 4 years out of a $300, $400 generator. That's pretty fair. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What's everyone charging set up at home? I just bought me a USB off of Amazon that has 10 plugins, and I just plug it in at home. I take that. I have a little box. I take that same USB multi-port USB,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a little 450, just a Harbor Freight 450, and I just hook it up to my truck, and plug that in. And you got a good battery, it ain't gonna matter, you know.
Yep.
But if I have that generator, and I might get one now, I just borrowed my cousin's. But when you have that generator, I tell you what, man, kick that generator on, charge them up, and shut it down.
Yep. I like it compared to like some of them, you know, like I have buddies that have like the little battery cable hookup so they can charge their stuff off the truck battery. Man, I'd fall asleep in the chair or something at camp and forget about it, and then I wake up to a dead truck.
Yep. I did that one time. That's why I bought that generator years ago. Because
what?
I did that very thing. Fell asleep sitting there.
Go to Harbor Freight and get you one of them little bit bigger solar chargers and put it on your battery.
Well, Goal Zero makes that stuff. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Yep. And you
But
can get you can get them cheaper than Go Zero though. Go Zero like marks their stuff up real high. Let me look, and I got it saved in a file. I'll look at the brand and I'll send it to you. But you can. I just found because up north you buy a solar kit for your cabin, be 5,000 watts, and it costs you like $400 or $500. Down here, that same kit will cost you 15 grand. So I was like, I got to find. Yeah, they mark everything up real bad, and Go Zero is bad for that. But let me look at the name of the company. They're orange, like their little logo is orange. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll look it up and send it to you. It's like half the price of the Go Zero stuff.
Gotcha.
Well, there you have it.
Did we even talk about lion hunters?
We did. Yeah, well, we talked about rating houndsmen. We got that out of the way in the end.
A little bit, yeah.
We probably are going to do that same raffle, but everybody says they're broke, and so I should wait a little bit. We are going to do a raffle for, if you go to azwda.com, I'll change the raffle page. If you guys want to put in money on a raffle, and let me tell you about the raffle. There's a guy who does raffles on the same thing we just did. He does one all the time. Same kind of deal. So much money. He's on, but I think he's doing it to make money for himself. We're not doing it to make money for ourselves. We're doing it so we can go to the damn Capitol, walk through a bunch of Hispanics that are yelling at white people and saying we're horrible. And there's two guys with cowboy hats walking through. So we were getting eyeballed pretty good. That's what you're paying for. And maybe a hamburger after.
Well,
but we made some good contacts, guys.
Yeah, no one's time's ever free.
No.
I don't care what you do.
If that was what, 6 hours out of our day plus driving?
Well, yeah, and plus driving. And if you're missing work and missing some hours on your own paycheck to do that, absolutely, you gotta do something for yourself a little bit too. I mean, nothing's free.
And if you guys,
nothing's free.
And Value Pack Dog Food is going to start throwing us some stuff to give away, help us to support us. I've been feeding that Alpha Pack, and I like it. I told the guy today.
Alpha Pack,
I said I only have one
pack.
Or Value Pack. Sorry.
Okay.
I say it all the time. Value pack
It's
dog
an
food.
AWDA.
Yeah, oh man, everybody calls it AWDA, DWA, AZGDA. Even I mess it up. But those guys are gonna help us out and give us some dog food. But I was talking to the guy today, and I said, I have one problem with your dog food. And he says, what's that? I said, they're real little kibble, and they're round. Yeah. And some of my dogs I feed on top of their dog bogs. And I said, can you make those square for me? Because they roll off, and I have to find bowls for them. Yeah. But Anderson,
I need to figure out
we're going to do another same raffle like that.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I need to figure out where to get that value pack.
In Phoenix, there is a spot. I'll find out for you. I get it in Sholo. So for the rendezvous, hopefully he sends me a good big chunk, like a pallet to the rendezvous. And I have some good ideas for the rendezvous, which is August 20, what is it? 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Isn't it the
But
first
we're
week of
probably going to stay down there all week and hunt.
Isn't it the first week of lion season?
Usually, yes. Usually it starts when lion and bear and archery deer open back up. So if you're coming to Arizona or you live in Arizona, I think we get that spot all week. Okay. So if you want to hang out and go do some, if you want to try to shoot a deer, lion. Now I'm gonna tell you that country ain't the easiest on Louisiana hunting. I don't know if he's still on here.
You better have hiking boots.
Yes, you'll get to hear website isn't allowing payments on pick and shovel. Okay. You can buy so I'll figure that out. You can pre-purchase your dinners, and it's on pick and shovel. It's on pick and shovel outfitters.com. But you can just go to AZWDA, click on the rendezvous scroll on the bottom. It'll take you to AZHHR.com, which is the Arizona Hound Hunters Rendezvous. I need to change that to American Hound Hunter Rendezvous because we get a lot of people out of state.
That's a good idea.
And that's going to be in August. That's going to be a good time. We threw it together last year. I mean, we threw it together. Me and Brett literally just talked about it. And what do we have, 70 people there? And then Sunday, we had 30 people sitting around my horse trailer?
Oh, yeah. We sat there and
telling dumb stories.
We sat there and bullshitted till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock. I told my wife I was going to be home at noon.
We better be careful.
2 o'clock.
We better be careful this year. There's going to be mad people sending us emails for closing units with that many people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all right. We'll eat good.
Yep. That's right.
I was actually deer hunting. I was on my way leaving, and I seen deer across the road, and I jumped out with my longbow. I want to kill something with my longbow. Oh, wait. I don't think I had my longbow then. I think I had my regular bow, and I was running around trying to chase these deer. And Casey and Diana Fair hook up the dinner, and those guys are great. You guys will love them. Casey can tell the story, whether it's true or not. It's good. And Diana drives by and is like, "Get out of the road!" yelling at me. I just stopped in the road, and I was like putting a stalk on deer because I'd seen 3 run across, came back. There was another one trying to come in. So that was kind of a funny story, but it's a good time down there. And this time we're more organized. So we're going to have the guy who was supposed to play some music thought it was the next weekend. So the dinner was good, huh, Jared? That was pretty good.
Perfect. As long as
So
Robert keeps bringing them green chilies down too.
Yep. Oh, careful. You don't want to get
all fired up.
Benny all fired up. Yep. Nah, I'm going to run my dog, so I will catch an elk or deer. Well, if you get a deer, we'll shoot it.
Yep.
I'm just kidding. That's illegal.
Yeah, we wouldn't do something like that.
Hey, listen up, Mr. Anderson. He just told me put something in a tree. I did. Wow. Stinker did. So I did what he said.
Jeremy could be like me. Me and Jeremy just walked all day chasing a walking female.
I should have, that next morning, Jeremy found that track. I knew what I should have done is just had dumped off where we were, but I hit a road and we went down, and they were trailing something, but I think I might have been trailing a bear, and then they headed to the highway, so I cut him off, and Dirty don't quit. He was going, but then I think they ran backwards. Maybe I think that line came in from that way, went up to Jeremy's camp, circled back, and went to the reservation. That's what I think. That's what I'm gonna say.
Hey, nobody can't prove you wrong. That's what happened.
Right.
My dogs took that track 2 days later. Then you should have caught it, Jeremy. You went from a 3 all the way down to a 1.8 on our score.
Down there, it's me now.
Yeah. Oh man, if I was to grade myself, if I graded myself like Richard Dickerson does the dogs, I'm a 2 right now because and I can blame that on AWDA, but I think people need to understand this real quick too. When we're trying to get money, it's because we need money. And I'm going to tell you about these anti-activists. They got money.
All the money.
The legislature realizes they have money. I think this is what's happening now. And let me tell you something. You guys need to support like Sportsmen's Alliance. And if you don't want to support me, because I'm going to support them. And that's what we're trying to do. I did talk to the secretary of SCI today, the Phoenix chapter, and he's excited to work with us. Yeah. So those guys are teaming up. SCI and Sportsmen's Alliance, they're ganging up on these guys and suing them now. And that's exactly what those antis do to us.
That's what we need.
Hey, Rowdy's here. So we need to do it back to them. We need to let them know. I wanted to talk to Russ McSpadden. I should have talked to him in the hallway. I was hoping he'd stick around. I kind of knew he wasn't going to, though, after.
He boogied.
I don't know. I wish I would have talked to the dude. He boogied. Whatever. I'll go down and talk to him. I'll hang out with him. You know, I'm always curious of why these people, what he said he was he said he was a outdoorsman and he fished and had a hunting and fishing license, you know.
Well, it's just like remember that guy on the Mountain Lion sightings page that was posting videos of hound training with a bobcat in a cage? And he's like, these are how these guys are training hounds. And I'm like, those are 2 house terriers. They're just black and white. They're just terriers. They're not even hounds. And it was just 2 house dogs came up on a bobcat in a live trap. And they were barking at it. And someone posted that on social media. And they were using that for hound training. I'm like, that's not even the same breed. Those dogs are 2.5 pounds.
And you know, I will say that made me think of it that you was talking about that fella saying that associations are worthless and clubs are worthless and all this. When's the last time you heard these antis back east trying to shut down the coon hunt?
Well, it's a different. Okay, look, I got calls about that. I got calls from people back east about that, telling me that this guy, and I'm not going to call him out. It don't matter to me. But this guy said, and the guy's a hog guy. He's a hog guy. I'm going to tell you something. All you coon hunters and your hog guys back east, when they're done with us over here, right now it's the lions, because everybody loves the mystical creature of, you know, majestic.
And because we don't got a PKC, we don't got $1 billion organization out there shelling out. You know, we can't go win 100,000 this Saturday chasing lion. But they're the harder target than we are. That's why they're after us.
But those coon hunters and those pig hunters and those deer dog chasers, which I was hoping, who'd I say was coming on tonight? Dang it! Oh, man, I'm bad. My mind slipped me. We had a deer dog guy coming on tonight, and Reese Baker. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was hoping he'd come on because that's a whole different country. Those guys want to come over to our side and hunt lions. Those guys should be joining too. Those guys should be at least sending the emails. And, you know, they did send emails. There was emails from Kentucky, West Virginia. You know, I wish I could have played that tonight. What I'll probably do is put a clip on AZWDA because Lupe Diaz said, hey, use my quotes. So real nice guy. We talked to him for a little bit. Gosh, dang,
I'm
you
gonna
guys
try
are
to.
talking shit about me right now.
I'm
I
gonna
have
really
lot
try
of
to.
excuses.
I'm gonna really try to get out there to like Autumn Oaks and maybe Winter Classics or the Grand American something. I'm gonna really try to get at some of them big hunts back east and just get those guys. Just stir the pot a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, I didn't even know. Someone said Autumn Oaks, and I'm just as
Mhm.
bad. If I'm sitting here telling you guys are dummies because you don't do it, it's because I don't do it, and I know now, and I'm trying to spread the word. And when Dan Gates said you're the problem, he's right. We're the problem because I didn't know what a sportsman's caucus was. I've never been into the Capitol. That was the first time I've ever been in the Capitol.
Yep,
It
me
was
too.
kind of cool. I really kind of dug it,
Yep.
besides having to go through the big crowd and all the people who hated guns.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about that, did we, Derek? We talked
No,
to,
we
what was
did.
it, Mothers Against,
Mother's
I don't know what,
Demand Action or something.
yeah. And so we stopped, and I'm nosy, I'm a private investigator. I said, hey, what are you guys doing? And they wanted to take basically gun safety for kids because now I researched this, just what I do. They said, oh, the number one cause of kids getting killed is guns, and that's false. Me and Derek sat there. We got there a little early, and we looked this stuff up. And there's guns is third, and it's only from kids from 15 to 17. That's one of the leading causes, 15, 17. Everything else is kind of is different.
Ooh,
I
So
wish
at
I'd
the
have looked
age
at
they
that.
should know
automobile.
better. At the age they should know
It
better.
is, and
Yeah.
so those ladies had us talking until they said, and assault weapons. Derek goes, oh, what do you consider assault weapon? Something that kills a lot of people fast. Derek goes, like a knife? They said, no. I said, what about the guy? And there was a guy that killed 15 people with a knife before. Like, what about a shotgun? What about texting, drunk driving? We can go all day long about that stuff.
The brown bass musket killed more men than smallpox.
This is another. I want to bring this up too. A lot of organizations back east supported Colorado. You know what that
Yep.
was? That was them giving us leftovers. That's exactly what that is. And that the reason we bring up leftovers is because this guy said it's like we're like organizations are worthless and you do the same thing. It's like leftovers. I'm a leftover mother effer. I'll tell you that. And that's what saved Colorado was everybody's leftovers, our leftovers. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And doing all that, me and Jared sit around, and I've been trying to get people to help me or start something. Jared
We've been
said,
trying to do this for 2 years.
Jared said, F it, let's just do it. And I said, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll do it. And every president, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, those guys said, it's you starting from scratch. You're effed. You're screwed. It's hard. And it is. It's tough. I'm learning. I'm meeting people, but that's all I'm doing. And I'm tell you what, I ain't a politician, man. I ain't a politician. And what happened over there, Derek? When the guy got up there, when Russ got up there and started talking, I had a little speech on my phone. I had all my bullet points. And I turned my phone off. I said, yeah, I don't need those. I was fired up.
Yeah, he's
ready.
mad.
And then we had 1, 2, 7 speakers, and they said we only have time for 3. So one of the game commissioners, James, went up. Mark's way smarter than I am, any of us. He went up, and I looked at Derek. I said, "Who's going?" And Derek knew I was mad. He goes, "I'll go."
Yeah.
So Derek went up. Derek went up there, and he came back, and I said, "You were more calmer than I was." He goes, "Yeah, that's why I went up." I'm like, "Son of," I can argue, I can debate, you know what I mean. But when it comes to just doing a little speech, I can't. But we got our point across. We knew who our allies are now, so I'm happy. I was happy with it. Derek did a good job, represented and we actually talked about that before because we didn't want to crowd him. We said, should we both go up, or should we one go up? And Derek's probably a better speaker than I am at that point. When I get mad, I'm pretty good, but let me tell you something about a C3. there's a little clause in there in that C3 that says you can't mislead, you can't say stupid stuff, you can't make stuff up. Every one of them anti-organizations break that rule every time.
Yep.
You know, when he said, I witnessed hounds running jaguars and ocelots, I witnessed them harassing wildlife. That burned me up. That burned me up bad.
Well, yeah,
The-
'cause that's
I
a
got-
bold-faced. That's a
I got
bold-faced
fidgety.
lie.
I was ready, like, oopsie. I'm ready
Yeah.
to.
Whoopsies.
It's, but I did tell the representative, right? We talked to him after. I said, let me tell you something. You will not harass a jaguar. You do not harass lions. I caught lions, that female 3 times on one mountain. No, we're not harassing nothing. They're not pushing them out of the country. I told them jaguars are coming in and out. If they don't see one for 6 years, because it left. Jaguars are very good at leaving and coming back. The border's right there.
Seeing
They come in,
jaguars
they take a
in
peek.
Arizona and New Mexico, West Texas, what have you, is the same effing thing as seeing a moose in South Dakota.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't have to stop
Or-
a deer hunt over it.
Or an elk in Gila Bend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Can it happen? Yeah, it happens every now and then.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're trying to establish a living. Doesn't mean they're trying to establish a home range here. They're just
Yep.
here, and then
And-
they're gonna wander back.
And even if they was, it's not like we're running them. Because I would about guarantee if my dogs come anywhere near seeing one of them, they don't want any part of that.
No,
Yeah,
I
They
don't want
don't.
any part of that.
They
Dude,
don't want no part of that.
I would love, I'm going to just be the bad guy here, the heathen. I would love to see a jaguar in a tree. Who wouldn't?
That'd
Now,
be amazing.
Are you might lose
For
a lot
me,
of dogs, though.
For me, it's
I
the
was
same
gonna
thing.
say
with
we'll do it if that happens. I hope it's your dogs there, not mine.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. It's the same thing. Like I'd love to go hunt leopards with somebody else's dog.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want mine anywhere near that thing.
Did you see that Jim Shockey video of them collaring jaguars down south?
Oh, listen to Cody Lynn talk about it. Or Cody King talk about it.
Well, so Jim Shockey's, they're chasing this big Tom Jaguar with dogs. And the cameraman, they're sprinting. And the cameraman's just picking up dead dog, dead dog, dead dog. There's 6 of them out of 8. Done.
Nope. I just want to be like Warner Glenn, who shows up, it's in a tree, I take a picture, and I get out of there. That's all I want it to be. I don't want nobody to die.
Well, you listen to them Dale Lee tapes, and they just
But
running through
you're not
dogs
gonna
every
chase them out.
damn time. Nah,
Well,
you ain't gonna run something like that out of
Oh
here.
yeah.
CJ Proc's
No.
first year
And those
hunting
guys-
Jaguars in Mexico, he lost 20 in a season.
I can't afford to lose them, and I have my own line. I breed my own. I don't buy dogs.
I don't.
And I honestly got a good line from people. I just don't. I'm a number 2. That's it. That's all I can say. It's not the dogs. And you can't grade a houndsman on how many he catches or don't catch. You have to grade a houndsman on what he's doing.
You could be a houndsman and catch 20 lions a year. But if they're off cell phones, are you really lion hunter?
Oh yeah. No, Dustin hit it on the head when he said there's a lot of variables.
There's a lot of variables.
To me, a good houndsman, and I think people have gotten mad at me, is not somebody who just buys dogs. Someone who can make dogs.
Well, it's not even
like you have your puppies. You buy dogs. Well, no, you buy dogs, but you also have puppies you run with these dogs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You still have to make a puppy.
You could breed your own bloodline, because I had my own Walker blood going for a little bit out of my bone dog. But to have the niche that John Klump has, or Terrell Shelley, listening to those guys talk about
Yeah.
dogs and hearing stories about them, you're like, man, those guys you'll never hit that level. It doesn't matter how hard you're going to try, beat your head against the wall.
Unless
Some
you're doing
people
it.
just have it.
Unless you're going out every day and that's what you do.
Well, even if you go out every day.
Oh, you're right.
I mean,
me and Jared talked about this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you're
There's
going
always a
out
plateau.
Yeah.
you
We
will
talked about
always every human, dog, everything, you're gonna hit your flat where you climbed as much as you can, you're there. And now you're just trying to maintain.
My
You
phone
know.
is going to die any second now,
Yeah.
fellas. So I'm going to have to bounce.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
at
we've been on 2.5
3%.
hours anyways. People
Yep,
are probably tired of
but-
hearing us.
But I could talk about
We are going to do more
levels.
raffles. Jared will talk about lines all day long.
Yeah.
AZWDA.com. You can sign up. You can go there to get to the next site, azhhr.com, for the rendezvous. If you want to go to the rendezvous, get your tickets now. Someone said that the site wasn't working on pickandshoveloutfitters.com. I'll find out
Okay.
about it. We're going to give away another XL Garmin cash or collars. We're going to wait a couple weeks. We're going to give away a dog box. So I'll probably tonight, probably in the morning, tomorrow, I'll get that set up on the page. The dog box is going to be for a side-by-side. It's going to be $30 a ticket. And we'll probably raffle it like in March, like we did the collars.
Okay.
So all this money, it's not for us, it's for the cause, and we will be in a ballot initiative. If we're not, then I'm a liar, and you better hope I'm lying about this.
Yep.
But those guys aren't going to stop. They're going to take us to a ballot initiative, and everybody that wants to be, did he die? I think he died.
Yep.
Everybody that keeps saying offense, this is the best we can do for our offense. This is it. We are in a time right now we can do offense, period. And we need to do offense.
We do.
We need to have big money in the account, not necessarily just for us, so I can help SCI or whoever's going to help us fight. Conserve and protect Arizona.com as well.
Yes.
Those guys are going to help us out. They've helped me out. They let us know about stuff that's going on, and that way we can pass it on to everybody else. So this is what we're here to do, is do our best to get you the information to play offense.
Yep. And that's just
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, and because they're not going to go away. I mean, there's just not. You have too many rich old ladies with nothing to do besides share stuff on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Just
So
like
if you're a
them trying to-
houndsman, no matter where it is,
Yep.
oh yeah,
You know,
they just keep
it,
going.
like-
They'll keep going.
Yeah, well, it's, so that guy that shot that monster bull elk, that 470 or 460 or 490 or however big it was with his bow in December. Do you remember him, Chris?
Who was it?
This guy that shot supposedly the new world record or something with a bow for elk.
Oh yeah.
Well, people have that elk on door cams in this small little town. The antis are going to try. They already read it online. They're like, we're going to use this to he shot a pet. We're going to use it to shut down hunting.
There's no pet.
No,
there's
he's
no
not.
pets.
He just came down because the snow got deep up in the hills, or whatever happened.
That's
I
exact.
don't know the whole story.
I shoot him off the golf course.
Yeah, but
I shoot him off the golf course. Does that make him pet?
But they're going to use every little thing to shut down hunting.
Catching doesn't make the houndsman. It's not catching the wrong game that makes the houndsman. That's pretty true. Yep. Everybody has trashy dogs.
Yep.
At one point or another.
Oh man. Absolutely.
And then We might even give away a line hunt for next
Giveaway.
year. You guys will get to go hunt with Jared, and if you make it the 7 days or whatever you get to go,
7, 10
then you
days.
might get another prize. Especially, I'm gonna get a shirt that says I survived Jared Fisher. And when we give away that lion hunt, we're still putting it together. I'm gonna go down there for that 7 days, and I'm gonna cook for you guys.
I'm gonna need a shirt that says that as
I'm gonna be the camp. I survived. Chris is cooking. Yep. I'm gonna go down and be the camp bitch.
Heck yeah. No, that'll be a good time.
Hey, I made tamales. I made fresh tamales in there.
Yep.
I'll make fry bread. I'll make dirty tacos.
Heck yeah. No, I love it when people cook because I don't. I just eat Spam on a cast iron and that's it.
I'm not saying we'll have that too, but
Yeah.
righty, Jared. I think we made our point.
Yep. It's that time.
This is right, Mr. Anderson. Jeremy told me about hunting with Jared will wear your ass off. That's why I took my mules and he went this way and I rode around this way. Or I went and rode dogs this way because it was easier for me to go pick him up than follow him. And that actually worked out on that
lot.
hunt.
It did.
Yep.
No, you saved
'Cause
our butts a couple times.
Couple times because he goes, where are you at? And I said, I'm here. And he says, I'm walking down that way. So I went to pick him up. And then the other time, the buggy broke down. And we had to tow that out of some crap area.
Yeah, that was a terrible road to
good times.
Good times, yep.
So we will be giving away. We're probably going to get that line hunt started. It's going to be a long, drawn out. Put your money in. Probably not going to be. We haven't figured all that out yet. We're trying to make it affordable. And we're trying to make it where nobody's losing money. No one's going broke. And we're going to have a good time. So other than that, azwda.com if you want to become a member or just donate. If you want to donate $1, we'll take it. Because that's a big gulp when you're sitting in the Capitol all day.
Right.
Oh boy. Politics. I don't like politics. But we're doing it best we can.
Same.
All right, Jared.
All right.
Well, Mr. Anderson hooked you up.
Yeah, thank you again, sir. I very, very much appreciated that. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah.
No,
everybody else might hate you for it, but
it's all right.
All right, Jared.
All right. See you guys. Good night.
Everybody else, thanks for coming on, and we will see you probably Monday.
Yep.
Definitely Wednesday, and we'll have all the raffles. If you want to put a raffle in for the side-by-side dog box, that will be built to your size. So we're not going to build it until somebody wins it. Then you give us a size. We'll have it built within a week or two. If you want some upgrades, he's going to hook you up some upgrades for cheap. And that's the Apex dog box guy. So I'll get that posted on azwda.com. You guys keep it on that website. I'll try to keep it updated as much as I can. Other than that, hope you guys keep your powder dry and stay safe out there. We'll see you next week.